Chapter 802. In the blink of an eye, the million lightning-gathering towers underwent a transformation and were completely connected to the demon city. There was no longer a single gap, and they became a complete entity. The heavenly lightning platform also transformed into a lightning pool. It could automatically absorb the power of countless lightning bolts from the void and nurture a large amount of divine lightning, greatly increasing its power. It directly increased the combat power of the demon city greatly. Rumble. The rainbow tribulation eye in the sky once again sent down tribulation lightning. However, as soon as it landed on the demon city, it was immediately pulled over by the Emperor's Jade Archive and quickly swallowed into the lightning talisman. It constantly absorbed the lightning law within to complete the talisman. At the same time, the million lightning-gathering towers began to display their power at the same time, continuously absorbing all kinds of lightning bolts from the void. Een lightning, netherworld een lightning, Xianming cold lightning, earth fiend fire lightning, Xiantian astral lightning, 9 heavens divine lightning, 5 elements divine lightning, and so on. All kinds of lightning bolts were swept into the lightning pool and sent into the lightning talisman in the Emperor's Jade Archive in an instant, constantly transforming into strange laws and merging with it. In an instant, the entire lightning talisman was rapidly mended at a speed visible to the naked eye. With every bit that was mended, the power of the talisman increased. In the blink of an eye, 60% of the talisman was mended. The entire talisman had completely transformed into the source of lightning. It devoured the lightning bolts in large mouthfuls. Haha, good. 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 Looks like this lightning talisman is about to be mended. That's great, Lunatic D. I'll go help the Emperor's Jade Archive. Dark shouted excitedly. The Emperor's Jade Archive was now the source of Demon City's vitality. Every time a talisman was completed, its power would increase, and the speed at which it absorbed the vitality of heaven and earth would greatly increase. Dark turned and entered the void of the ancient city's core, appearing in front of the Emperor's Jade Archive. He quickly spat out a series of lightning cultivation techniques, such as Palm Lightning, 5 Elements Lightning, 9 Heavens Divine Lightning, Lightning Sword Art, Lightning God Transformation, and so on. Many cultivation techniques were spat out from his mouth as easily as eating a meal and entered the Emperor's Jade Archive. They turned into lines of great Tao seal text in the lightning talisman. They became Tian-Yin. The lightning talisman's completion speed increased further. How is this possible? This ancient city is actually absorbing the divine lightning. The 7 Knights' demon supremacy, who was originally sneering as he watched myriad demon city undergo the tribulation, now had a change in expression. The scene before his eyes stirred up countless waves in his heart. He was overwhelmed with shock. It is said that in order to become a paragon divine artifact, one must have a natural spiritual treasure as its source of yuan qi. Otherwise, it will not be able to support its huge consumption. Could it be that this ancient city has a natural spiritual treasure as a source of vital energy? Could it be that this ancient city can absorb divine lightning? Could it be that this spiritual treasure is a pool of lightning? The vigilance in his heart increased greatly. He could already see that it would not be difficult for the 1,000-fiend city to survive the lightning punishment. In an instant, the divine thunder of annihilation swept down crazily. However, under the divine thunder of annihilation, the ancient city emitted a dazzling divine light. Every inch of the city was sparkling and translucent like a crystal. On the surface, there were traces of strange Tao inscriptions. It was vivid and lifelike. It seemed to carry the charm of lightning and poison. Ha ha! It's done. Ming laughed loudly. In the Ultimate Emperor's Jade Archive, the lightning talisman emitted a dazzling divine light. The talisman was completely complete, and countless lightning bolts seemed to be brewing inside. There were pages of strange Tao inscriptions flickering constantly. It was simple and extraordinary. The lightning talisman immediately became the second complete Great Tao talisman in the Ultimate Emperor's Jade Archive. At the same time, an illusory phantom shot out from the talisman. It rushed out of the Jade Archive and landed in a lotus in the void. Immediately, the originally illusory lotus turned into a third-grade green lotus. The green lotus quickly condensed into a substance. Inside, it was as if heaven and earth were splitting apart, quickly evolving into a small world. The world was filled with endless chi of lightning. A second world was born. Quick! Lunatic D, take advantage of this great opportunity to upgrade and quickly take out the egg of the Chaos Beast. Integrate it into the Thousand Fiend City and let it have the power of chaos. Ming shouted anxiously. Okay. Di Shirtian's eyes lit up. He knew that this was a critical moment. Without thinking, he immediately took out the gift he had received previously, the Chaos Egg. With a wave of his hand, he took it out. He quickly sent it into the ancient city. It appeared in the core of the void. As soon as the Chaos Egg appeared, it immediately fell towards the Ultimate Emperor's Jade Archive. The Ultimate Emperor's Jade Archive emitted countless great Tao heavenly tunes. It seemed to be abnormally excited, as if it had a fatal desire for the Chaos Egg. Almost instantly, the Chaos Egg was swept into the Jade Archive. The Jade Archive was completely enveloped by countless Chaos Chi on the spot. Countless Chaos Chi turned into tiny threads and quickly merged with the entire Thousand Fiend City. They entered the divine crystal and interweaved with mysterious Tao inscriptions, emitting a chaotic halo. In the blink of an eye, they appeared densely on the entire ancient city. On the ancient city there was a chaotic charm. Vaguely, it seemed to be able to communicate with the chaos world. At the same time, countless mysterious chaos Tao inscriptions naturally appeared on the Ultimate Emperor's Jade Archive. In the Jade Archive, in the center of the 1,300 Great Tao talismans, a chaotic bead appeared. This chaos bead also had strange inscriptions on it. It naturally emitted a chaotic Tao inscriptions with a supreme aura that suppressed all the Great Tao talismans. It was very strange. After this chaos bead appeared in the Ultimate Emperor's Jade Archive, it could vaguely connect to the chaos world and directly absorb vast amounts of chaos chi from the chaos. Benefits. The benefits were simply boundless. After advancing to the supremacy level, a large amount of chaos chi was absorbed from the void into the Ultimate Emperor's Jade Archive. Then, it entered the chaos bead in the Jade Archive and was refined by the chaos bead into the purest chaos chi, which was integrated into the Thousand Fiend City. Rumble! The Thousand Fiend City shook violently, shooting out millions of feet of divine light. The divine crystals in the entire ancient city instantly rose from mid-grade to high-grade divine crystals. The entire ancient city became a world of its own. After fusing with the Chaos Egg, the Ultimate Emperor's Jade Archive directly absorbed Chaos Chi from the Chaos World, just like the Source Continent and the Demon God Continent. There was no need to be controlled by the world. A huge amount of primal Chi was absorbed and spat out. In the ancient city, the connate primal Chi was constantly increasing. Boom! In the void, the tribulation clouds that filled the sky strangely dissipated. The entire Thousand Fiend City naturally exuded a kind of majestic aura and vast supremacy pressure. The Thousand Fiend City had advanced to the supremacy level. It had truly become a supreme divine artifact. Haha, the supremacy level, the supreme divine artifact, has finally reached the supremacy level. This is something that even my master couldn't do back then. Crazy D, you are indeed blessed with great luck. The foundation of the demon clan has finally been completely established. Now I'm afraid that even the most powerful experts can't really exterminate the demon clan. Ming laughed wildly at the sky. He turned into a ray of blood light and returned to the infernal prison. He shouted, "Quick, the Thousand Fiend City has advanced to the supremacy level. Let's directly use the winged birdman to test its power." Smash, smash him to death. Deshertion stepped into the Thousand Fiend City. His feet were connected to the ancient city. He could clearly feel every trace of transformation that had happened in the ancient city. He could also clearly feel the vast power contained in the ancient city. With a thought, a huge amount of power poured into his body. His entire demon body rapidly expanded. In the blink of an eye, it had expanded to tens of thousands of feet and stood in the ancient city. Your Majesty, the Demon Empress is about to give birth. Qing Luan shouted in the jade pool. When this sentence fell into Deshertion's ears, he only felt his heart beat violently. It was as if his body had been injected with chicken blood. He fiercely glared at the 7 Knights Demon Sovereign and shouted, "7 Knights, today I will use your blood to welcome and decorate the birth of I's bloodline." Lightning Gathering Tower, Lightning Fury. Millions of lightning gathering towers flashed with thousands of lightning bolts. The lightning pool rolled violently, and countless divine lightning bolts were constantly condensed from the lightning pool. "Brother, you can win for sure. Ling believes in brother. Brother is the strongest." In the jade pool, a little girl who looked to be 7 or 8 years old, dressed in white, raised her small face and called out in a clear and melodious voice, "Ling." Deshertion's heart flashed with a burst of warmth. Boom! Countless divine lightning bolts shot out of the lightning gathering towers. In the blink of an eye, tens of millions of different types of lightning bolts filled the sky and shot toward the 7 Knights Demon Sovereign. Earthfiend Yin Lightning, 9 Heavens Astral Lightning, 5 Elements Lightning, Yin-Yang Lightning, Profound Underworld Lightning. Vast amounts of divine lightning swept toward the 7 Knights Demon Sovereign with mountain-toppling, sea-draining force. Good timing. Even if you have a Paragon God item, you've only just ascended. There's no way you could have a true killing move. The 4 heavenly gates are nothing but fake. You think you can count as a Paragon God item? Watch as I shatter this ancient city of yours. The face of the 7 Knights Demon Reverend was cold and extremely ugly. The eternal demon gate above his head jerked. There seemed to be a great terror within the eternal demon gate as it emitted a formless devouring force that swiftly devoured the divine thunder that covered the sky. When the divine lightning entered the eternal devil gate, it didn't even cause a ripple. It was like the most terrifying abyss. "Humph! If you can devour the divine lightning, then I'll smash you to death. Let's see if your eternal devil gate can devour I's myriad demon city." Deshertion raised an eyebrow, exuding a majestic aura. It was true that the myriad demon city couldn't compare to those old Paragon God items in terms of battle prowess. However, it wasn't something that could be easily humiliated. Paragons were the gods of heaven and earth. Smash! Since the divine lightning couldn't kill you, I'll smash you to death. If you want to be unreasonable, then you have to be unreasonable to the end. If you want to fight, you have to be fierce. You have to be brutal. Rumble! The myriad demon city shrunk to a size of 1,000,000 meters, and with a violent tremor, the void around it was destroyed. The boundless pressure caused the surrounding space to distort continuously. Crack! Terrifying fissures appeared on the ground. Smash! The myriad demon city shone with divine radiance. All of a sudden, it charged ferociously towards the 7 Knights Demon Elder from midair. This collision was simply like a savage beast that charged forward with an indomitable and overbearing aura. With this collision, he wanted to create a ferocious aura and show off his might. If you want to know what happened next, please visit www.chidian.com to read more chapters. Support the author, support the original reading. Chapter 803. Don't think I'm afraid of you. Eternal Devil Gate, Eternal Devil Armaments, Eternal Devil Armaments, slaughter the myriad worlds. The 7-Knight Demon Lord didn't back off. He had incomparable confidence in the ancient gate above his head. When he saw Sakra driving the 1,000 demon city over, an intense battle intent gushed forth from him. With a roar, the vast amount of fallen devil energy in his body frenziedly channeled into the ancient gate. Whiz! The ancient demonic gate that was emitting an ancient aura suddenly shook. The ancient devil runes on the gate seemed to have a life of their own, and they began to glow with devilish light that intertwined with each other. It formed a mysterious picture. The demonic door that seemed to have existed since ancient times suddenly opened, revealing the endless darkness behind the door. It was a terrifying scene of pitch black. It was so dark that it seemed as if it would devour the entire world. Inside there was a terrifying aura. It was as if a peerless great demon god was being nurtured in the demon gate. Clang! 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 The endless dark demonic chi within the demonic gate started to churn violently and continuously intertwined with each other. Countless demonic runes rushed into the gate and immediately, pitch-black demonic weapons were formed at a speed visible to the naked eye. Suddenly, 108 ancient devil armaments burst out of the gate. The devil armaments burst out of the gate. In the blink of an eye, they began to devour the vital energy of heaven and earth in the area. In a flash, they began to grow. Soon, they were 30,000 meters tall. In the blink of an eye, devil sabers, devil swords, devil spears, devil rods, and 108 devil weapons erupted with shocking power as they surged toward the city of demons like floodwaters, intending to shatter it into countless pieces. Each and every one of these devil weapons was powerful enough to crush an ancient almighty to bits. Countless terrifying cracks appeared in the vacuum around the demonic weapon as the sharp aura cut through it. Boom! 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 The devil armaments slashed toward the myriad demon city. Smash! The myriad demon city only had one action: smash. Although I've just become a paragon, and don't have any other means of attack, I can crush anything with this paragon ancient city. Even if heaven and earth were to stand in my way, they would still be pulverized. The myriad demon city exuded the domineering aura of an emperor that couldn't be disobeyed. Those who disobeyed would be completely annihilated. The ancient city collided violently with the 108 demonic soldiers. In an instant, countless saber lights, sword lights, and spear shadows bombarded the ancient city's 4 heavenly gates. The power of each MO weapon could be said to be the power of a great ancient master. Every strike was capable of shattering a world and shattering stars into dust. However, at the same time, when the 4 gates of heaven were promoted to the supreme level, they also received an unimaginable increase in power. Above the gates of heaven, dazzling divine light shot out. Although the demonic soldiers were ferocious, the divine light kept the demonic soldiers at bay. The gate of heaven shook. In the ancient city, the Emperor's Jade Archive was drawing on the chaos bead at an unimaginable speed and absorbing vast amounts of chaos energy from the chaos world. Following the Tao patterns on the ancient city, it instantly penetrated every inch of the ancient city. Rumble! The ancient city shook violently, and the divine light it emitted instantly burst out hundreds and thousands of times stronger. The entire ancient city was like a giant bull that was completely galloping, emitting a terrifying aura as it crashed over. Immediately, the 108 demonic soldiers were annihilated inch by the dazzling power that erupted from the ancient city. 7 Night Demon Supremacy. Today, I will use your blood to brew a jar of hero wine. When I's child comes of age, it will be the wine of adulthood. Modu is scheming against the Origin mainland. How dare you bully me? D. Shirtion was wearing an emperor's robe, and the aura he naturally exuded was so oppressive that it shook heaven and earth. He pointed at 7 Night and roared coldly. Below him, not only did the myriad demon city directly smash the 108 demonic soldiers, but it also carried boundless power and directly crushed over. I want to drink your blood. How could the 7 Night Demon Supremacy be swayed by mere words? But the murderous intent in his heart grew stronger. Instead of retreating, he advanced. The ancient demon gate above his head burst out endless demonic light, emitting an unparalleled demonic aura that suppressed the ancient times. Bang! Crack! The myriad demon city and the ancient demon gate collided head-on. The myriad demon city was a supreme ancient city, and the city's body had been tempered into a complete body after the world-extinguishing thunder punishment. It was so tough that it was indestructible. Its power was so strong that it was qualified to suppress all the worlds in the universe. However, the ancient demon gate was the plan of Mo for countless years. Its grade had reached the level of a top-notch sky demon treasure, and its power was so strong that even unparalleled experts would be jealous. The two treasures collided. On the spot, the entire void within 100,000 feet of the Pillar of Heaven's mountains collapsed. Countless towering ancient trees and a large number of ferocious beasts were instantly crushed into powder. The entire mountain range was razed to the ground, and only the Pillar of Heaven's mountains remained. Large amounts of flesh and blood stained the ground red. Countless voids were constantly being born in the surroundings, and then they collapsed on the spot again. It was a continuous cycle of reincarnation. A huge hole was forcefully created in the land of exile. Under the huge force, they collapsed backward one after another. For a moment, they were evenly matched. Again! Shirtian's expression was cold. Without hesitation, he controlled the myriad demon city to collide with the ancient demon gate again. It was as if Mount Tai was pressing down. However, the seven-night demon master was not to be outdone. He brought the ancient demon gate and collided with it head-on. Boom! 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 For a moment, a huge ancient city and a vast demon gate that suppressed ancient times collided with each other in the most primitive way. It was as if stars were colliding with each other, and the power that erupted caused the sun and moon to lose their light. The void was torn apart, and countless terrifying cracks appeared on the ground. In the void, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. It was as if doomsday had arrived. Even in the myriad demon city, countless cultivators couldn't help but open their mouths. They were so shocked that they couldn't even close their mouth. Their eyes were filled with horror and fear. Haha, collide, that's how it should be. As a man, you have to be ruthless when you kill. As an emperor, you have to kill decisively when you do. Show off your might. Even though the myriad demon city does not have any other powerful means of attack, don't be afraid. With the supreme divine weapon's toughness, what's there to be afraid of? With the ultimate Emperor Jade Archive as the source of energy, we can continuously absorb the vast amount of energy from the void and turn it into energy to support the ancient city's combat strength. The energy will never be depleted. Ming yelled out, hee. Even though the ancient demon gate is strong and is not inferior to the myriad demon city, we have the ultimate Emperor Jade Archive to absorb the vast amount of energy. However, with each collision, the ancient demon gate has to absorb a large amount of energy from the seven-night Birdman. He might be able to withstand it once or twice, but let's see how he can withstand the might of the myriad demon city after 10 or 100 times. This was the difference between a supreme divine weapon and a connate spiritual treasure. A supreme being divine artifact was a divine artifact used in war. It was much more powerful than other treasures of the same level. Boom, boom, boom. Shirtian did not let his guard down. He controlled the ancient city and unleashed boundless divine radiance again and again, crashing into the ancient demon gate. Just as Ming had said, every time they collided, the seven knights' demon master's demonic body would tremble violently. Although the demon gate had devoured a large amount of destructive power, there was still a large amount of terrifying recoil force that hit his body. With each collision, he had to bear a terrifying amount of pressure. Moreover, the vast amount of energy in his body was being absorbed by the ancient demon gate like a tidal wave. After hundreds of collisions, he felt like his energy was about to be depleted. He couldn't help but be shocked inwardly. This won't do. The supreme divine artifact has the origin of vitality as its source of power. It doesn't need to consume Sakra's power and can continue to erupt with the strongest battle prowess. However, I am relying on my own power to control the ancient demon gate. If this continues, I'm afraid that after a few more collisions, the power in my body will be completely exhausted. At that time, I'm afraid I will be in danger. I can't continue like this. Looks like I have no choice but to use my final trump card. Calming himself down, he shouted, with the blood of billions of living beings as the sacrifice, we respectfully request the awakening of the sage devil son of heaven and the subjugation of the demon emperor. Boom, boom, boom. The ancient demon gate trembled violently, and a powerful suction force emanated from it. Suddenly, a strange heartbeat could be heard from within the pitch-black demonic energy. The heartbeat was unusually loud, as if the entire world was breathing in and out vital energy. On the ground, the blood of billions of demonic and vicious beasts that had been crushed into flesh and blood stained the ground red. Suddenly, the flesh and blood seemed to be attracted by some mysterious force. They flew up from the ground and transformed into blood-colored dragons that charged into the ancient demon gate. In the blink of an eye, countless waves of blood surrounded the demon gate. The demon gate was like a bottomless pit, constantly devouring the flesh and blood. The world within the demon gate distorted, and a huge figure appeared. The figure was clearly visible, and Tion could see it clearly. That's... His heart was filled with shock. The figure that appeared from the demon gate was enormous, at least tens of thousands of meters tall. However, the strangest thing was that the devil god was in a deep slumber. Furthermore, the sleeping posture was even more peculiar, as if he were a fetus in his mother's womb. His entire body was curled up in a fetal position. His arms were wrapped around his legs. It was as if he was in his mother's womb. The devil god had a pair of pitch-black horns on his head that resembled those of a bull. Densely packed golden scales covered every inch of his skin. There were countless mysterious demonic runes on each scale. There was also a blood-red war flag in front of him. On the war flag, there were demonic weapons flashing continuously. Every time he breathed, a vast amount of demonic energy would enter his body. Countless streams of blood entered the demon gate, transforming into countless crimson flames that burned the sage devil son of heaven. Whoosh! The sage devil son of heaven's demonic eyes, that had been closed for an unknown number of years, suddenly opened. To be continued. If you want to know what will happen next, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author, support the original reading. Chapter 804. This Saint Demon Son of Heaven was simply terrifying. As soon as he opened his demonic eyes, a terrifying demonic light shot out from his eyes. The huge sacrifice of flesh and blood turned into a majestic power that poured into his body, awakening him from his slumber. In his eyes, there was the demeanor of a supreme son of heaven among the demon gods. When he glanced around, it was as though the heavens and earth were about to submit to him. He quickly turned around from his curled-up posture and stood up. The densely packed scales on his body interweaved together like a golden dragon robe. As he stood in the demon gate, he exuded a vast pressure that poured down in all directions. Rumble! The will of the heavens and earth in the exiled land seemed to have sensed this terrifying aura. Suddenly, countless pitch-black tribulation clouds flashed wildly in the void. Countless terrifying lightning bolts gathered and shuttled back and forth in the tribulation clouds, emitting a dazzling divine light. The tribulation lightning was gathering to force the terrifying existence that did not belong to the exiled land out of the heavens and earth. The aura emitted by the tribulation clouds was not inferior to the world-extinguishing thunder punishment that Tion had gone through previously. Roar! However, the sage demon son of heaven's eyes were filled with ferocity. When he saw that the heavens and earth were about to attack him, he was furious. He grabbed the blood-red war flag in front of him and waved it at the tribulation clouds in the void. Clang, clang, clang. For a moment, one could clearly see an unparalleled demonic god within the eternal demon gate roaring towards the heavens. A gigantic blood-colored war flag stretched out from the eternal demon gate. With a wave, it darted into the tribulation clouds. Within the war flag, countless horrifying blood-colored demonic weapons darted out from within the war flag. Each demon weapon had terrifying killing power, and they twisted the tribulation clouds crazily. Rumble! In front of the blood-red demon weapons, the terrifying tribulation clouds were cut into pieces and disintegrated. In an instant they were completely destroyed by the blood-red war flag. Roar! The sage demon son of heaven broke the tribulation clouds and let out an excited roar. However, the blood-red flames on his body dimmed slightly. It seemed that the power that he had obtained through the sacrifice of hundreds of millions of lives had been greatly depleted. Your Majesty, please use your divine ability to destroy the ancient city. The sacred demon son of heaven's demonic eyes were filled with hostility. He seemed to have sensed Chiye's request. His demonic eyes instantly landed on the demon city. At this moment, the demon city was enveloped in boundless and domineering power as it violently rushed over. The saint demon son of heaven was furious. He waved the iron blood battle flag in his hand and slashed it towards the demon city. Countless blood-colored MO weapons poured out like a flood of blood. It ferociously and domineeringly slammed into the southern heavenly gate. Rumble! The saint devil son of heaven was terrifying to the extreme. The blood-colored devil soldiers that rushed out of the iron blood war flag erupted with a terrifying power. Wherever they went, even the void was instantly cut into pieces. It collided with the southern heavenly gate and actually managed to block the thousand-demon city with its tyrannical power. The boundless sharpness bombarded the southern heavenly gate. The southern heaven's gate, which was extremely sturdy, began to crack like a spider web. The entire ancient city was blasted backward. Tiny cracks appeared on the entire ancient city. However, the immortal power of the four heavenly gates instantly burst out and quickly covered the entire ancient city. Immediately, the cracks on the ancient city were rapidly healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. In the blink of an eye, it was restored to its original state. What a terrifying saint demon son of heaven! He actually has the terrifying battle strength of an unparalleled expert. What a loss, what a loss! Lunatic D, your demon city has only just been promoted to the supremacy level. It doesn't even have a real battle skill. Fighting against this unparalleled expert is a huge loss. If you can obtain the real four heavenly gates, just the heavenly gates alone can kill him. Ming's expression changed drastically. He shouted indignantly. Humph! It's just a power obtained through sacrifice. It doesn't belong to you, so it won't last long. Di Shirtian was unperturbed. He immediately saw through the saint demon son of heaven's state and shouted, Blood kill guards, listen to my order. Annihilate divine light, kill the saint demon son of heaven. Boom, boom, boom. 100,000 blood kill guards quickly gathered in the ancient city. In the blink of an eye, they appeared in front of the southern heaven gate under the leadership of 18 blood kill generals. They arranged themselves in a neat formation. There was a blood-red divine eye between their eyebrows. That divine eye was the divine light of annihilation, a divine ability inherited from Di Shirtian. The blood kill guards were born to kill. Under Di Shirtian's order, they immediately roared, Kill! Whoosh! Whoosh! All of a sudden, each of the blood kill guards channeled all their killing power into their divine eyes. In their divine eyes, a terrifying force that was filled with the will of destruction gathered. Suddenly, beams of blood-red divine light blasted towards the ancient demon gate. Each of the blood kill guards had the terrifying fighting strength of an ancient demon sage. When they unleashed all their power at the same time, their strength was terrifying to the extreme. Even an unparalleled expert would be taken aback by such a scene. When 100,000 beams of annihilation divine light gathered together, they could kill any god or Buddha that stood in their way. Bang, bang, bang. The annihilation divine light clashed with the blood-red demon soldiers. Immediately, the demon soldiers only managed to hold on for a moment before they were blasted into smithereens and crumbled apart. They broke through the flood and bombarded the Iron Blood War flag. In an instant there was a violent turbulence. The surrounding space collapsed. The annihilation divine light dissipated. However, the Iron Blood War flag also returned to the ancient demon gate. Roar! Suddenly, an indignant roar burst out from the demon gate. The blood-red flames on the Saint Demon Son's body dimmed to the point that it looked like they would be extinguished at any time. A pair of angry eyes shot out from the demon gate and fiercely swept across Di-Shirtion. The blood-red flames on the demon son's body instantly dissipated. The Saint Demon Son's eyes gradually closed. He curled up his body again and hugged his legs with his hand. He looked like a fetus in his mother's womb again. He fell into a deep sleep again. It had only been 10 breaths since the Saint Demon's son woke up and fell into a deep sleep again. However, there was a terrifying danger. Kill. The Blood Kill Guards carried out Di-Shirtion's orders loyally. Hundreds of thousands of annihilation divine light shot out from their eyes again. They instantly crossed the boundary of the void and bombarded the ancient demon gate. Rumble! Poof! The demon gate trembled violently and was blasted hundreds of thousands of feet away. A terrifying force landed on the 7 Knights' demon sovereign's body, and his indestructible demon body actually exploded. The demon body exploded into a huge ball of flesh and blood. Damn it! If the Saint Demon Son of the ancient demon gate had not fully awakened, you would not have been able to do anything to me today. I am indignant. However, don't think that you can kill me. Sooner or later, your origin continent will be occupied by our demon god clan. Today's debt will be settled with you in the myriad of worlds. The 7 Knights' demon master's body exploded into flesh and blood, but he did not die. He quickly rolled up the ancient demon gate and was about to escape in the direction of Demonic City. With the ancient demon gate around, it was too difficult to kill him. You want to leave? Not so easy. Today, I said that I will use your flesh and blood to brew wine. I will definitely do it. Di-Shirtion's long black hair danced wildly behind his head and exuded a wild aura. He reached out his right hand and grabbed in front of him. Extreme Emperor Creation Palm are stealing the sky and sun. An invisible force entered the ball of flesh and blood. Ah! The 7 Knights' demon master let out a crazy roar. Di-Shirtion, come. I want to drink your blood. The ancient demon gate shuddered and swept up the remaining demon gods before vanishing into thin air. In Di-Shirtion's hand, there was a ball of flesh and blood that was wriggling and rolling. It was hundreds of feet in size. Dang! Bell of Heaven's reincarnation. The seed of Heaven's reincarnation appeared above his head. An ancient scroll appeared on the bell. In the scroll, there was an illusory gourd vine. On the vine, there were 3 small gourds. The blood-red gourd was the demon-slaying gourd. The black gourd was the calamity gourd. The green gourd was the wine god gourd. The wine god gourd flew into the air and released a strong suction force. It sucked the demon god's flesh and blood into the gourd and absorbed a large amount of precious spirit essence. The power of Heaven's reincarnation in the ancient bell entered the gourd and distorted time. It really started to brew wine with the 7 Knights' demon master's flesh and blood. Chase. Boom. How could Sakra give up just like that? He swept up the broken heavenly devil scripture. With the support of the Emperor's Jade Archive, the 1,000-demon city erupted with resplendent divine splendor as the power of annihilation appeared. The ancient city broke through the void with a loud rumble as it ferociously rushed towards the direction of Modu. This time, Di-Shirtion was really angry. He wanted to smash the demonic capital into smithereens. However, it seemed that he was a step too late. When the Thousand Demon City appeared where the demonic capital was, they realized that the demonic capital had mysteriously disappeared. They had evacuated from this place, and were hiding in some secret place in the exiled land. Tion frowned slightly. It seems that the demonic capital had already prepared everything. They had hidden the demonic capital from the start. Demon Supervisor Guards, listen to my orders. Yes. Immediately send out elite troops to cover every inch of the Earth net in the shortest time possible. We might not be able to find the demonic capital. I will reward those who find it. Yes. This was the responsibility of the Great Rat. The underground network was also called the EarthNet. Huff. Dark let out a long sigh and shouted, Lunatic D, it seems that the purpose of the demon capital in the land of exile is not simple. I can't believe that the eternal demon gate has given birth to such a terrifying demon god. Moreover, I have never heard of this before. In ancient times, there was no such thing as a saint demon son of heaven. However, I can feel that this saint demon son of heaven has not been completely born yet. He is still in a deep sleep. However, I am guessing that once he wakes up, his combat strength will reach the peak of the world. Extremely terrifying. Could this be the demonic capital's real plan? A trace of worry appeared in his expression. Once the annihilation tide is over, I am afraid that the source continent will once again suffer a terrifying calamity. To be continued. If you want to know what will happen next, please go to www.chidian.com. Support the author, support the original reading. Chapter 805. The Demon Empress has given birth to twins of a boy and a girl. Everyone rejoices. Haha. Brothers, let's go. The 7 Knights Demon Venerable has the ancient demon gate. If he wants to escape, I can't kill him. However, I stole a third of his essence blood with the sky-stealing sun-swapping technique. Even if he escapes, his cultivation will be damaged. Without a lot of time to recuperate, his cultivation will fall from the peak of the sky demon. Tion said thoughtfully, now that the demon city has ascended to the sovereign level, it seems that I have to find a way to enter the Sky Gate Forbidden Grounds to find the real 4 Sky Gate. Also, in terms of restrictions, if I can obtain the legendary top innate spiritual treasure, the Forbidden Red Lotus. Once they merged with the 10,000 Fiend City, the ancient city would possess truly powerful offensive power. Then, he would find materials and think of a way to refine the 365 demon sealing steels. Then, I can form the Heavenly Cycle Stellar Formation. Or even the Cloud Gathering Banner. The battle just now made him realize that although the demon city had been promoted to the Supreme Being level and its foundation was extremely solid, it was almost impossible to destroy. However, in terms of fighting methods, it was extremely lacking. The main reason was that its foundation was too shallow. Even the 4 gates of heaven were fake. It was really not a good match. He secretly made up his mind to find a way to enter the Sky Gate Forbidden Grounds of the 9 Great Forbidden Grounds of the Source Continent as soon as possible. Lunatic D, these are the demonic techniques I forced out of the Witch of Myriad Wonders and the Dragon Demon Crown Prince. Now I'll pass them to you. TSK, some of these demonic techniques are really unique. The Demon God Continent is indeed stronger than the Source Continent. Dark sighed and passed the various demonic techniques into Tion's mind. With Tion's current cultivation, he was naturally able to understand all this information easily. These demonic techniques are indeed amazing and unique. Tion also silently experienced it. There were dozens of demonic arts, such as the Demoness of Myriad Wonders, Myriad Sky Demon Dance, Mystic 9 Transformations Art, Demoness Dongxian Technique, Sky Demon Blade, Soul-Stealing Demonic Sound, and so on. As for the demonic Dragon Crown Prince, he became even more powerful. For example, Demonic Dragon Transformation, Demonic Dragon Battle Skills, Demonic Dragon Form, Demonic Dragon Lightning, demonic eyes of annihilation, demonic dragon throne artifact refining technique, reincarnation arts, and so on. Among the many demonic arts, they could be said to be the best demonic arts on the demon god continent. However, after reading these demonic arts, De Chertien's mind trembled. He faintly grasped a wisp of light and said thoughtfully, "Heaven's will, perhaps I really have the confidence to obtain the legendary 4 gates of heaven. Right, exhilarating." Suddenly, Chen Shi's figure appeared in his mind. Thinking that Chen Shi was giving birth at this moment, he couldn't help but feel anxious. His figure flashed, and quickly shrank back to his normal state. "Greetings, Your Majesty." The demonic beasts all around bowed their heads. "Rise. If there's anything, we can talk about it later." De Chertien didn't even stop to rest as he hurried toward the fairy pool. "Your Majesty!" Along the way, the numerous maids and sword servants of the Azure Phoenix all paid their respects. In the fairy pool, a large number of maids were nervously walking in and out, carrying all sorts of things in their hands. Some were carrying hot water, some were carrying towels, some were carrying jade plates. They were so busy that they looked like they were being chased by a fireball. Outside the sleeping quarters, Bai Hu Zhu Bai Su, the red-crowned crane queen He Di Ling Diu and Qing Xia were all waiting in front of the sleeping quarters, nervously looking inside. "Chertien! Brother-in-law! Your Majesty! Big brother!" When De Chertien arrived, the women immediately surrounded him. Especially Little White, who directly pounced from a few meters away into his arms. 2 small hands hugged his neck, like a koala bear, hanging on his neck. She shook her head and buried her head in his arms. Her 2 eyes were faintly glistening. That kind of kinship where blood was thicker than water continued to spread between them. He directly carried Little White and reached out to gently scratch her small nose. He smiled and said, "Little sister, you're finally willing to come out of seclusion. You've already reached the 8th transformation stage, and become a big ancient demon. Not bad, these years haven't been wasted." Little White had obtained the obliteration plate elixir and broken through the hidden dangers of the past. She also cultivated the White Tiger's legacy cultivation technique, the White Tiger Holy Spirit technique. Along the way, her cultivation could be said to have progressed by leaps and bounds. Breaking through to the 8th transformation stage was a pretty good result. Ling will definitely work hard to cultivate. Little White also wants to help Big Brother. Little White said in a childish voice, her eyes clear and pure. "Big Brother believes in you." De Chertien smiled dotingly and nodded. After a pause, he looked into the bedroom and couldn't help but feel a little nervous. He changed the topic and asked, "How's Chen Shi's situation now? Has the child been born?" A kind of anxiety and nervousness that he had never felt before appeared in his heart. Even his heart couldn't help but beat faster and faster, as if there were thousands of little deer bumping around in his chest. Such a situation was definitely an indescribable experience for him, who had already reached the level of an ancient demon and was extremely powerful. It was as if he had returned to the ordinary people of his previous life. He would also feel nervous and anxious. He would be restless and unable to calm down. "Your Majesty, Her Highness is doing well now. There is the best midwife inside, and I believe that there will be no problem. Your Majesty, please wait patiently." Bai Su was as gentle as water. Seeing De Chertien's anxious expression, she couldn't help but comfort him gently. There was a complicated look in her watery eyes. "Quiet?" These words were said lightly, but as the husband of a wife and the father of a child that was about to be born, how could he possibly be quiet? He couldn't help but pace back and forth in front of the bedroom. He muttered, "Mother and child are safe, mother and child are safe. Nothing will happen, the birth will go smoothly." His expression and actions completely revealed the indescribable emotions of a husband and father. She swayed back and forth, almost dazzling the eyes of the surrounding maids. However, not a single one of them was dissatisfied. Instead, they were all looking forward to it. Did she give birth? Did she give birth? He muttered to himself as if he were suffering from ADHD. Roar! After an unknown amount of time had passed, a young and tender tiger's roar suddenly came from the sleeping quarters. Di Shirtian's body trembled violently. Congratulations, Your Majesty! A maid rushed out of the bedroom and arrived in front of Di Shirtian. With a joyful expression, she bowed and said, Her Highness has successfully given birth to a boy and a girl, a pair of twins. Her Highness is safe. Whoosh! Without waiting for her to finish, Di Shirtian rushed into the bedroom with Whitey in his arms. In the bedroom, on a luxurious bed, Chun Shi's hair was disheveled, but at this moment she was emitting a strong maternal glow. Her eyes were full of love as she glanced at the two blood lotuses beside her. Di Shirtian was slightly shocked. She gave birth to two blood lotuses? No. The moment he entered, the blood lotuses bloomed. The petals of the blood lotuses quickly parted in all directions. In the middle of the lotuses, there was a small golden tiger lying in the left flower. It opened its mouth and let out a young tiger's roar. It had a strong aura. With a flash of golden light, it turned into a human shape in the blink of an eye, like a newborn child. It was a boy. In the middle of the split lotus on the right, there was a 7-colored divine flower. The color of the flower was constantly changing, containing a unique charm of youth. It was an instant divine flower. With a flash of 7-colored light, it turned into a human shape. It was a beautiful girl. Hee. After the two children turned into human shape, they opened their eyes and looked at Chen Shi and Di Shirtian spiritedly. They stretched out their hands and giggled, as if they knew that the people in front of them were their parents. Dad, Mom, hug! The two children called out in a childish voice. They were born with intelligence and could speak. Ha ha! Di Shirtian was completely overwhelmed by joy. He laughed heartily and said, Good, good, good. My good son, my good daughter. Let Daddy hug you. He walked forward quickly and sat on the edge of the bed. He picked up Chen Shi and let her lean in his arms. Then, he carefully held his son and daughter in his arms. A warmth that he had never experienced before emerged in his heart. He looked at Chen Shi for a while, then looked at the flesh and blood in his arms. Exhilarating. He looked at Chen Shi emotionally and said. There were no superfluous words. Everything was said without words. The blissful expression on Chen Shi's face had completely explained everything. And the arrival of these two children, to Di Shirtian, was something that no one could imagine. The moment he saw the children, he had completely given up everything from his previous life. He had truly integrated everything, his body and mind, into this world. Because, here, he had his own subordinates, his own wife, his own flesh and blood. He had family and friends. In an instant there was no barrier. Congratulations, brother. Congratulations, sister-in-law. Hee Ling can also be called aunt now. What a cute child. Little White blinked its eyes and cried out happily. At the same time, Bai Hu and the others walked in one after another. They all congratulated loudly. Pass down the order. The Demon Empress has given birth to a prince and a princess. Everyone will celebrate. Everyone who belongs to the demon race will be rewarded. Reward the monkey with a gourd of spirit wine. Open the scripture pavilion. You can enter and read for 6 hours. The army will reward the wine and the banquet. 3 days later, the officials will be invited to the Jade Pool. In the Demon City, for 3 days, all transaction prices will be reduced by 30%. Di Shirtian issued an edict instantly. Suddenly, in the entire Demon City, hundreds of millions of demon race, all rejoiced. The cheers almost broke the sky. Countless cheerful shouts sounded one after another. The entire Demon City was in an uproar. Haha, the Demon Emperor has a descendant, and it's a pair of twins. It's simply a blessing for our demon race. Auspicious, this is auspicious. Our demon race will definitely rise. His Majesty the Demon Emperor has returned, the Demon Empress has given birth to a pair of twins, and even defeated the invading demon god. This is a joyous event that our demon race has never had before. The whole world is celebrating, the whole world is celebrating. The Demon Emperor has a descendant, our demon race is overjoyed. His Majesty the Demon Emperor is immortal and everlasting. For a time, the entire city was jubilant. To be continued. If you want to know what will happen, please go to www.chidian.com, support the author, support the original reading. Chapter 806. Haha, the Demon Empress has finally given birth to a prince and a princess. This is truly a joyous occasion that has never happened since the establishment of the Demon City. However, His Majesty is in his prime right now and has ascended to the ancient heavenly demon level. The Demon City has also been upgraded to a supreme divine artifact. However, there is only the Demon Empress in the Jade Pool. This is too monotonous. We must find a chance to persuade the Heavenly Fragrance Empress to decide on the title of Demon Consort. Who stroked his white beard and chuckled. His face was filled with joy as he nodded and muttered to himself. Light flashed in his eyes from time to time. He was from the Fox clan, so he naturally had to promote Su Tianxiang, the only descendant of the nine-tailed fox bloodline, to the position of Demon Consort. Once she became the Demon Consort, her wish would be fulfilled, and her position in the Fox clan would be extremely stable. Moreover, the females of the Fox clan were all extremely beautiful. They were all maids in the Jade Pool and had considerable weight in the Jade Pool. The Demon Empress has given birth to a child, and the Demon King has a descendant. It seems that we should also go and congratulate them. Brother D is already in charge of the demon race. The Dream Demon King has already decisively submitted to him and was given the position of military advisor. He is also in charge of the military with Hu. He is already one step ahead of us, so we can't waste our abilities. We should contribute to the rise of the demon race. What do you all think? In the Linglong Treasure Pagoda's 5th level, Rock Demon King Shuewuya, Blood Dragon King, Ancient Demon Tree King, Golden Winged Bat King, Misty Cloud King Baizian, and Sky Swallowing Rat King. The 6 Demon Kings from Purple Gold Continent were all silently cultivating in the pagoda. With their talents and the Bodhi Tree's enlightenment, they'd all broken through to the Ancient Demon Saint level. Shuewuya's cultivation was the highest, at the Middle Ancient Demon Saint level. The rest were all in the early stage. At this moment, the Rock Demon King Shuewuya was looking at the other 5 Demon Kings, the snow-white feather fan in his hand fluttering naturally. A faint smile was hanging at the corner of his mouth as he spoke while looking at his brothers. I, Old Flood Dragon, am able to cultivate in this Linglong Treasure Pagoda and obtain endless resources from Brother D, such as a large amount of spirit wine and heavenly yuan dawn. I have no choice but to repay this favor. Needless to say, if I don't support Brother D, who else can I support? I, Blood Flood Dragon King, have already decided to look for Brother D for a job, to contribute to the rise of my demon race. The Blood WRM King narrowed its eyes and smiled evilly. It glanced at the spiked club beside it. They had also witnessed the development of the demon race. What they had not been able to do for thousands of years had been accomplished by D. Shirtion. It had to be said that they were convinced. That's right. I, Old Bat, can't just eat and drink here for free. The great era in front of us is destined to be an opportunity for us Demon Clan to rise. I'll do it. The golden-winged Bat King squinted its small eyes and screamed. I have no objections either. The Ancient Demon Tree King also nodded its old head and agreed. Good. The Mist King Baizian softly spat out a word. Her hands were still constantly drawing runes and restrictions, constantly adding them to the jade bamboo staff in her hand. Back then in the battle with the Demon King in the southern wilderness I lost wholeheartedly. I have no objections to following him, the sky-devouring Rat King also said with a chuckle. Hearing this, Shueya nodded with a faint smile and said, "That's good. Since all of you have no objections, then 3 days later, during the Demon King's banquet, we will take the opportunity to congratulate him and express our wishes. I believe Brother D will not treat us unfairly." 6 demon kings, no, it could be said that they were 6 demon saints now. After a round of discussion, they came to a conclusion. Naturally, they did not say anything else and once again closed their eyes to cultivate, waiting for the time to come. At this moment, after accompanying Chen Shi and his 2 children for a day, the demon city, which was suspended in the void of the land of exile, suddenly began to move rapidly, breaking through the void toward the location of the city of exile. Embedded with the void's submerged stone, the ancient city shuttled through the void even more easily and freely, traveling thousands of miles in an instant. In the Lingshao Palace, Di Shitian sat upright on the throne of the Lingshao Palace. Beside him, Chen Shi was dressed in a palace robe, naturally exuding a motherly temperament, intertwining with Di Shitian's aura. 1 emperor and 1 empress, suppressing the entire palace. In the palace there were 2 rows on the left and right. Nightmare King Mingxi, Hu Baiyu Qihua Long Yu Yuan Tian Inkong Yuan Zhan Shuesher Shurasha Peacock Assassin Emperor Bai Susu and so on. All the important ministers under Di Shitian were gathered in the palace. Each of them stood solemnly. They looked respectfully at Di Shitian, who was sitting in the palace, with a natural sense of respect and awe. The city of exile, Dan Wang, has repeatedly attacked I. He must be a huge obstacle for the demon clan to take root in the land of exile, and we should eliminate him as soon as possible. Di Shitian was imposing without being angry, and every word he said was like a decree from heaven and earth. He must be killed. Yuan Zhan opened his mouth and shouted with a sinister smile. The demon clan did not have any objections. No one would sympathize with someone who had repeatedly tried to kill the demon king, let alone be merciful. Now that the demon city had descended, it was the most powerful existence in the land of exile. It was time to vent the anger that the demon clan had suffered for thousands of years. In the city of exile, Dan Wang Palace, Dan Wang, who was dressed in a green robe, was fidgeting uneasily. Beside him, the child of many treasures was sitting by the side, laughing and drinking alone. In the palace, an elixir apprentice quickly came to report. Reporting to Dan Wang, "I have detected that the demon city, which is floating in the void, has begun to move. It is moving in the direction of the city of exile." The elixir apprentice reported. There was a slight tremor in his voice. "Got it. You may leave first." After asking the elixir apprentice to leave, Dan Wang's face turned unusually pale. He paced back and forth in the palace anxiously. His face was like a dye shop, alternating between red and white. It was very interesting. He was full of regret and cursed inwardly, "I'm done for this time. How could I have been so obsessed to provoke the Demon King? Now I'm really in trouble." He felt bitter in his heart. Back then, he had thought that Di Shitian was just a small demon who had appeared out of nowhere and was insignificant. When he saw that Di Shitian had an inner world, he was afraid that Di Shitian would affect his monopoly on the elixir market and affect his interests. That was why he had asked the Azura assassin and the assassin emperor to assassinate Di Shitian to eliminate him. Who would have thought that not only did he fail to kill Di Shitian, but even the assassin he had hired was subdued by him. This was good. He had paid more attention to Di Shitian. He had sent out his capable subordinates, sword and saber slaves, and even brought the god-killing crossbow. Who would have thought that they would fail again? On the other hand, Di Shitian was constantly improving at an astonishing speed. This made him fearful. He couldn't help but take advantage of Di Shitian's tribulation to make another move. He had promised benefits one after another to tempt the other ancient giants to make a move. However, He didn't expect that his killer moves would be broken one after another. Some died and some were suppressed. At that time, Tion was ruthless and overbearing. That decisive action of killing had really scared him out of his wit. The longer one lived, the more one feared death. The alchemy sovereign was one of the best. He had superb alchemy skills, which allowed him to get whatever he wanted in the banished land. He enjoyed supreme authority. Even the most powerful cultivator would have to think twice before doing anything. With a stomp of his foot, the entire banished city would tremble. He had all sorts of wealth to enjoy. Even the most powerful experts might not be able to live a better life than him. In such an environment, he had lost all his fighting spirit. He cherished his life. He cherished his life immensely. This was also why he had turned around decisively when he saw Tian's heaven-defying combat strength. He didn't care about his reputation and ran away. What a joke. If he were to fight with Tian, he would probably be beaten to death in a single move. How could his reputation be more important than his life? He was different. Among the ancient giants, he was considered a rather unique existence. He cherished his life to an unimaginable extent. Since that day, he had been hiding in the banished city. He believed that with the banished city's tenacity and the existence of the demon-piercing crossbow and the god-killing crossbow, he should be able to preserve his life. At most, he would be a coward. If he couldn't provoke them, he could just hide. However, an unforeseen event happened immediately. The demon city was promoted to a supreme artifact and defeated the demon city in one fell swoop, forcing the demon city to hide in a corner. The demon emperor's power was like the sun in the sky. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that with a sneeze, the entire world would tremble. This news completely shattered the last trace of hope in Danhuang's heart. A supreme artifact. That was a powerful war weapon comparable to the most powerful expert. If it really pressed down, he would be turned into meat paste. Duobao, give me an idea. The demon city is moving at this time, and they're coming for the banished city. Without a doubt, they're coming for me. If you don't think of a way, I'm afraid I'm really going to die. We've been friends for thousands of years. You can't just leave me in the lurch. Danhuang paced back and forth. Finally, his gaze fell on the Duobao boy as if he was grasping at his last life-saving straw. Tsk tisk. The Duobao boy looked drunk and said with a smile, Old Dan, why can't you figure it out? You've tried to kill the demon emperor time and time again. In fact, you're already in a state where you won't rest until you're dead. Moreover, in the banished city, you can't escape. However, it's not impossible to save your life. What way? Danhuang's eyes lit up, but he immediately said, Don't tell me you want me to apologize to the demon emperor? That's not enough. The Duobao boy shook his head and said with a smile, Your actions can't be erased by just apologizing. In my opinion, not only do you have to apologize, your only chance is to bow down to the demon emperor. Submit to him. With your exquisite alchemy skills and the wealth you've accumulated over the years, you should be able to save your life. A faint light flashed in his eyes. Will that work? Danhuang's expression changed again and again as he said with some hesitation, Although I've only seen the demon emperor twice, I can see that he has ambition and ambition. He's not someone who can't tolerate others. The Duobao boy smiled faintly and slowly poured the spirit wine into his mouth. Danhuang was silent for a while. He seemed to be struggling in his heart. After a long time, he gritted his teeth and said as if he had made up his mind, All right. This time, I'll take a gamble. Whether I live or die, it all depends on this time. However, I want to see the demon emperor's attitude first. I'll write the letter of surrender and see if he's willing to accept it. If he has the tolerance to accept it, then there's nothing wrong with me bowing down. After saying that, he quickly wrote the letter of surrender. He summoned the alchemy apprentice and immediately asked him to bring the letter to the demon city. To be continued. If you want to know what will happen next, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author, support the original reading. Chapter 807. The speed at which the demon city traveled through the void was extremely fast. However, it was not in a hurry to reach the land of exile. Instead, it tried its best to slow down and moved continuously in the void. Wherever it went, countless auspicious clouds gathered and the four heavenly gates appeared vaguely, emitting a vast majestic aura. All the cultivators who saw it along the way revealed a look of awe. Awe from the bottom of their hearts. This was an invisible demonstration. It intimidated the entire land of exile. In the solemn Lingshao treasure hall, a guard entered. "Your Majesty, Dan Wang sent an envoy and said that he wants to hand over a letter of surrender. He begs to surrender." The guard quickly reported. "Send him into the main hall." Di Shirtian's face was dignified, but a thought flashed through his mind. He spat out a sentence unhurriedly. He sent the elixir apprentice into the main hall. When the elixir apprentice entered the main hall, he saw the civil and military officials standing on both sides of the main hall. Just the majestic aura emitted by the main hall made him break out in cold sweat. Even his breathing became a little irregular, and he almost completely suffocated. He was terrified. He hurriedly handed over the letter of surrender. Di Shirtian took the letter of surrender from the guard. His eyes were like lightning as he quickly glanced at the letter of surrender. TSK, this Dan Wang is really a villain who cherishes his life. He saw through your intentions and did not hesitate to give up a large amount of wealth that he plundered and is willing to bow down to you. He is indeed a wise man who understands the situation. Lunatic D, do you plan to accept him or not? Ming glanced at it and laughed strangely. He was full of playfulness towards Dan Wang. Since he is willing to bow down to me, I dare to accept him. With his exquisite alchemy skills and his cultivation as an ancient giant, it will be of great help to the development of the demon city if I accept him. It's not like I don't have such magnanimity. Di Shirtian replied with a faint smile. In this letter of surrender, Dan Huang's attitude could be said to be extremely humble. Moreover, he even promised that he was willing to give up more than half of the wealth he had plundered over the years as a form of surrender. In addition to his own cultivation and exquisite alchemy skills, this letter of surrender was not to be underestimated even if it was him. Most importantly, by accepting or not accepting it, he could show his own magnanimity. This was a type of prestige. If even Dan Wang, an enemy who had angered him time and time again, could not be bothered about the former enmity. Instead, he valued Dan Wang's capabilities and accepted him in large numbers. In terms of magnanimity, it would naturally show the demon emperor's magnanimity. He was willing to enlist all the talents in the world. If he didn't accept them, he would inevitably be suspected of being narrow-minded. Perhaps even his own subordinates would be overly respectful. Of course, for Di Shirtian, the key was whether it was beneficial or not. If they accepted Dan Huang, it would be of no benefit to them, nor would it be beneficial to the development of the demon city. There was no need to hesitate at all. They would directly kill him and imprison him in the heavenly prison, never to be promoted again. That would show that they were decisive in killing. The demon emperor's dignity was not to be trifled with. Dan Wang has sent a letter of surrender. What do you all think? Although Di Shirtian had already made a decision in his heart, he did not immediately issue an edict. Instead, he glanced around the hall and asked the officials in the hall. "Humph, Your Majesty, Yuan Zhan thinks that we can't accept him." Yuan Zhan opened his mouth wide and said angrily, "Dan Wang, that old bastard, has schemed against Your Majesty time and time again. He deserves to die. If we don't kill him and imprison his spirit, wouldn't that be letting him off too easily?" His eyes revealed a fierce look. Yes, he should be killed. Your Majesty's dignity is not to be offended. Bai Yu coldly spat out a sentence. Your Majesty! Who smiled wisely and walked out of the ranks, saying, This old official thinks that we should accept him. Firstly, it will show your Majesty's magnanimity. Secondly, it will make Dan Wang a great contribution to the demon city and the rise of the demon race. It will be our demon race's benefit. On the other hand, although killing him will be satisfying for a while, it will be detrimental in the long run. Why not let him atone for what he has done? Who is right? Mingxi also asks your Majesty to reconsider. Nightmare King Mingxi bowed respectfully and smiled faintly. In the hall, there were obviously two sides of different opinions. In Di Shirtian's eyes, this scene did not make him feel disgusted. Instead, he felt a sense of relief. What he needed was not a yes-man, but capable officials who had their own ideas and dared to express their own opinions. All right, I have understood what you all have said. I have made a decision in my heart. Di Shirtian waved his hand and stopped the discussion in the hall. He said in a deep voice, Since Dan Wang has the intention to surrender, I am not a narrow-minded person. I will allow him to surrender. However, his previous crimes cannot be completely absolved. He will be punished to refine pills for 100 years in the alchemy pavilion. In the forbidden residence, without an edict, no one is allowed to move around. Your Majesty is wise. The officials all agreed. Mengshi, who? Yes, Your Majesty. Mengshi and Hu stepped forward at the same time. Since the return of all monsters to the demon city, the number of people of the demon clan has reached billions, close to 10 billion. However, the management laws are too rough and need to be refined again. We have established the major positions of the demon city so that the affairs of the city can operate normally. The civil and the military are equal. The civil and the military are in charge of internal affairs, and the military are in charge of military affairs. You must let the demon clan flourish at the fastest speed. You all will find helpers to formulate the rules. Write them into memorials and hand them over to I for review. Completely establish the demon clan's imperial court. You all may have difficulties with this. Di Shirtian sat upright in the hall, full of vigor. Every word and action of his carried the emperor's authority. This time, the return of all monsters to the demon clan had united almost half of the demon clans in the universe. He deserved to be called the Demon Emperor. However, in the management of the demon city, he naturally needed to carefully plan out the various positions and manage the affairs of the city. The civil and the military were divided. The civil and the military were in charge of internal affairs, and the military were in charge of external affairs. The major positions were divided into the major departments of the demon clan's imperial court. Let the entire demon clan operate completely. He was the demon emperor. What he needed to do was to control the big ship of the demon clan, lead the demon clan to rise, and ride the wind and waves. When it was time to delegate power, he should delegate power. Now it was time to delegate power. Otherwise, he would not need to cultivate any more if he were to interfere in everything. Many unimportant matters could be handed over to his subordinates to do, freeing himself. With the help of the demon clans, he could cultivate and climb to a higher peak. Mengshi and Hu looked at each other at the same time. They saw a trace of joy in each other's eyes. They knew that this would be a crucial step for the demon clan. Yes, Your Majesty. We will participate in the elections of the various imperial courts in the universe and formulate the major rules and positions of the demon city. However, I implore Your Majesty to quickly find the demon clan's supreme treasure, the demon summoning banner. With the power of the demon summoning banner, the demon clan will be established and the demon court will be conferred. Enjoy the supreme merit of heaven and earth, and gather the fate of the demon clan. Only in this way can our demon race rise again in the myriad of worlds. Our fate will flourish. Dream Demon King Meng, she said with a solemn expression. The demon summoning banner was a true supreme treasure of the demon race. It was a supreme treasure that had been nurtured from the chaos with the birth of the demon race. To the entire demon race, it was definitely not just a supreme treasure, but a supreme symbol. Demon summoning banner? Di Shirtian felt a chill in his heart. His gaze instantly fell on Mingxi. Do you know the whereabouts of the demon summoning banner? He was no stranger to this supreme treasure. It was the #1 supreme treasure of the demon clan. Even the ancient suppressing demon lamp could not compare. Your Majesty, I do not know the whereabouts of the demon summoning banner. However, I know that the rock demon king Shuewuya definitely knows where it is. Mengshi pondered and said, in ancient times, the demon clan was betrayed by the human race and eventually fell apart. Many of the demon clan's treasures were plundered. Back then, the ancestor of the rock demon king, the golden-winged great rock king, saw that he couldn't stop the demon clan from collapsing. He used all of his vitality and finally snatched the demon clan's treasure, the demon summoning banner, so that it wouldn't fall into the hands of the human race. However, as for its final whereabouts, I guess that only Lord Shuewuya knows. His words revealed a secret history from the ancient times. Rock Demon King? Di Shirtian could not help but feel shocked. He did not expect Shuewuya to be hiding such a shocking secret. His background was even more frightening. No wonder he could become the leader of the 8 great demon kings of the Purple Gold mainland. Dan Wang had bowed his head, and there was naturally no need for him to go to the city of exile. In addition, he knew such a huge secret and many things needed to be arranged. The demon city temporarily stayed in the void. Di Shirtian entered the world inside the Bell of Heaven's samsara alone. There was also a large world inside the bell. However, it was not large for the time being. It was only tens of thousands of feet wide. However, due to the essence of life inside, every inch of the void exuded vitality. Vaguely, new green sprouts grew on the ground. He sat cross-legged in the void. Di Shirtian's hand flashed, and the god of wine gourd that had merged into the ancient bell appeared in his hand. He looked at the small green gourd and patted it lightly. He muttered to himself, I'm counting on you. Lunatic D, you want to brew the myriad poisons dragonworm wine. Ming had followed him for many years and naturally saw through his thoughts. My mother has been poisoned by the dark soul-dissolving poison, and her divine soul is constantly being corroded. If not for Xian's momentary protection and blocking the traces of time, her soul would have been destroyed. As her son, I cannot let my mother continue to be corroded by this poison. Peacock's brother, Kong Wu, also needs the myriad poisons dragonworm wine to save his life. When Di Shirtian thought of his white tiger mother, who was still in a deep slumber, his heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. Waves of stabbing pain constantly reverberated in his heart as he recalled the brief and warm moments in the Tiger Hill mountain range. Mother, now I have the ability to save you. He made a firm determination in his heart. With a wave of his hand, jade boxes quickly appeared around him. When the boxes were opened, one would immediately see that they were filled with all kinds of highly toxic substances. Centipedes, poisonous scorpions, poisonous snakes, centipede grass, 7-step fall, frost flower, red poisonous fruit, carrion grass, heartless flower, sky poison stone, dark een tree, poisonous coral, and so on. There were tens of thousands of highly toxic substances, poisonous flowers and poisonous plants. Almost every one of them could make an immortal god pale and fearful. But now they were all placed in front of him. Wisps of highly toxic qi constantly permeated the air. When these poisons intertwined together, even an ancient powerhouse would be poisoned. 9 poison pills of the 9-headed poisonous dragon emperor. With a wave of his hand, 9 pearl-like poison pills appeared in one of the jade boxes. There were 9 in total, and each of these 9 poison pills represented a supreme poison in the world. To be continued. If you want to know what happens next, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. I support the author and I support the original readers. Chapter 808. These 9 poison pills represented the 9 most terrifying poisons in the world. They were the poison of time, poison of space, poison of soul, poison of body, poison of 5 elements, poison of ice, poison of thunder, poison of wind, and poison of formless. Not to mention living beings, even space and worlds could be poisoned to death by these 9 poisons. If all 9 poisons were used, even a greater 1,000 worlds would be poisoned to death, and the world's origin would be destroyed. It wasn't just scary. It was the king of all poisons in the world. Only this kind of poison that seemed to contain laws could be called a poison among poisons. This was also the reason why no one dared to provoke the 9-headed venomous flood dragon emperor. If one were to be sprayed with a mouthful of poison, even the ancient overlords would tremble in fear. They might even capsize in the gutter and die. On the other hand, these 9 poisons were the most terrifying poisons in the world. If one could use these 9 poison pills to refine spirit wine and suppress the poison, it would be a supreme antidote to all poisons in the world. It could be called a peerless divine wine. Just a sip of this supreme wine would allow one to become impervious to all poisons. I'll use the 9 heavens dew, clear spirit spring water, and emperor glazed pulp to brew the wine. I'll use the resurrection grass to resist the power of all poisons. Poison is death, resurrection is life. When the two are combined, life and death become one. When yin and yang meet, a wisp of supreme vitality is born from death. It can be used to supplement all kinds of poisons and herbs. I'll use it with all kinds of spirit herbs. Then, I'll use the ancient thunder dragon's dragonfly as a guide to brew this supreme wine, the dragonfly wine of myriad poisons. Opening the wine god's gourd, he quickly took out all kinds of divine water used to brew wine and poured them into the marvelous wine pool inside the gourd. Then, he put in 9 poisonous pellets, guarding the 9 positions of the wine pool. He used the resurrection grass to refine the poisonous energy in the pellets and infuse it into the wine pool. He quickly formed a strange wine god seal in his hand and sent it into the gourd. The power of time in the bell of heaven's samsara spun quickly, automatically reversing time. It was adjusted to a ratio of 1 to 100. Time slowly passed. Every once in a while, a large number of poisonous herbs would be sent into the gourd. Slowly, bit by bit, they fused into the wine pool, turning into streams of wine. At this moment, in the purple-gold continent, in a desolate mountain range that had never been touched by the human race, there was an area shrouded in fog. Looking from the outside, one would only see a dense fog covering the sky. If one were to walk in, one would feel dizzy. In just a few breaths, one would be completely disoriented and lose one's sense of direction. In fact, one might even die inside. Under the cover of the fog, a steep mountain peak could be seen. The mountain peak was at least several thousand feet tall, and towering ancient trees grew everywhere. Judging from the age of the trees, they were probably thousands or even tens of thousands of years old. They carried an ancient aura, and even the vicissitudes of time. At the peak of the mountain, there was a dilapidated palace. The signboard of the palace was also dilapidated, but one could still faintly make out 2 words. There seemed to be 3 words on the signboard, but the middle one had been completely destroyed by some kind of terrifying power. One could only faintly make out 2 words, one in front and one behind. One was the word Yao and the other was the word Gong. They were all written in the ancient demonic language. The palace gates were tightly shut. Rumble! At this moment, the tightly shut palace door slowly opened with a series of stiff sounds. Patter! In the palace, there was a man with an imposing appearance. He was dressed in a long green robe, and his greenish-yellow hair was draped over his shoulders, dancing in the wind. On his shoulder, there was a dark green palace lantern that seemed to have taken root. The dark green lamp emitted rays of light, illuminating the surroundings in a somewhat demonic manner. Between his brows, there was a faint trace of a strong heroic spirit. Master, Tianyu is about to leave. Don't worry, Master. Tianyu will definitely think of a way to help you be reborn. I will not let Master down for saving and nurturing me. The young man walked out of the palace gates, turned around, and respectfully knelt down in front of the palace. There was a strange firmness in his voice as he spoke in a deep voice. Silly child, go. Back in the ancient times, I taught countless disciples. Even I can't keep count. I didn't expect to receive a disciple like you when I'm about to die. Whether I can be reborn or not is not important. Your life is more important than mine. Since the ancient suppression demonic lamp has chosen you, you are the destined successor of the demon clan. You shoulder the great responsibility of the demon clan's legacy. In the palace, a weary and old voice slowly reverberated. Yes, Master. Tianyu will not let you down. I will follow Master's will, and shed my last drop of blood for the demon clan's legacy. The young man said in a deep voice. Go. Master can feel that the demon clan has been in decline for thousands of years. At this moment there has been a huge change. Perhaps the demon clan has found the opportunity to rise again. Furthermore, although I am unable to divine your big brother's whereabouts, I know that your family members are still alive and have not perished. With the opportunity of your blood being connected, there will be a day when you will meet again. That ancient voice rang out again, the boundless void. After you leave this place, you have to head there as fast as possible. Master has used his supreme innate techniques to predict that something big will happen in the boundless void. Maybe a new ancient lamp will appear in the boundless void. After you leave, with your current cultivation base as an ancient demon saint, you have to be extremely careful. I will follow Master's orders. The young man respectfully kowtowed 3 times to the palace, got up resolutely, and flew into the sky. A young eagle will eventually have to experience the wind and rain alone. Only by growing up in the wind and rain can one look down on the world. There was a hint of emotion in the old voice, and he murmured with some doubt, Strange, I clearly feel that my demon clan will face a calamity of destruction after this tide of annihilation, and there is the danger of extermination. Right now, the destiny of the ancient suppression demon lamp should be extremely weak. Why didn't the flame of the ancient suppression demon lamp weaken? In fact, it seemed to be growing stronger with every passing moment. This ancient lamp is the life treasure of the demon race. It's connected to the destiny of the demon race. As the demon clan grows stronger, the flame in the ancient lamp will grow stronger and stronger. This means that the demon clan is growing stronger and stronger. What's going on? Back in the ancient times, many of our brothers from the demon clan had risked everything to sleep in the blood altar. They had anticipated the invasion of the demon god and the arrival of the immeasurable calamity. Our demon clan was in danger of being annihilated, so they had to leave behind their broken bodies to protect our heritage at the critical moment. Logically speaking, the human clan can't sit and watch us rise, and we don't have the opportunity to rise. What's going on? Could it be that the purple moon fairy? The murmuring voice suddenly fell into silence. Boom! The palace gate closed again, and endless fog slowly shrouded the mountain peak. It was dark all around. Reincarnation of the heavens, the passage of time, cleanse the essence, myriad poisons dragonworm. Inside the bell of samsara, the wine god's gourd had already absorbed all the poisonous plants and flowers into the wine pool. Under the power of the wine god's curse, all the poisons were fusing together in a strange way. The wine in the wine pool had already turned into a bewitching purple color. It was like a begonia. All right, the brewing of the myriad poisons dragonworm wine is finally complete. However, we still need to use the bell of heaven's samsara to reverse time and let the spirit wine undergo the precipitation of time, so that the various poisons in it can completely fuse into one. Otherwise, whoever drinks this wine will die. Sakra slowly exhaled a breath of air. The matter of the myriad poisons dragonworm wine is done. Crazy Emperor, what are your plans next? If you continue to stay in the land of exile, I'm afraid that you won't be able to progress as quickly as before in a short period of time. To become an ancient heavenly demon, every step forward requires a lot of foundation and accumulation. Although the land of exile is a land of treasures, compared to the heavens and earth, this is only a temporary foothold. There seemed to be a hint of warning in Dark's words. Don't worry, I won't put the cart before the horse. The land of exile is now under the control of all sides. Although we still haven't found the demonic capital, with the rules here and the connection of my 2 blood altars, we can use this place as a secret realm for the demon city to train and strengthen. Completely take root. Di Shirtion looked up at the void, his gaze deep and profound. He said meaningfully, Purple Gold Mainland, heavens and heavens, I will return again. North Nether Mansion Master, Carefree King. In his mind, the scenes of the outside world flashed one after another. His deep eyes seemed to be able to pierce through the void and see the scene outside the land of exile. In the endless void, a large number of cultivators from the heavens rushed in madly. The Tiger Soul Saber, an Earth-rank demonic weapon, attracted the attention of countless cultivators. An Earth-rank demonic weapon might not have such a big impact, but if this demonic weapon was augmented with the traces of the demon city, the boundless treasures of the demon race, the Supreme Emperor Tao ultimate techniques, and so on, that was enough to attract anyone's attention. Around the void illusory island, one could see countless ships, immortal islands, and even ancient cities converging toward them. A large number of cultivators had gathered above, eyeing the void illusory island covetously. Near the void illusory island, a strange ship was hovering in the void. This ship did not look big, only 3,000 feet in size, but its entire body was woven with a kind of purple bamboo. It was a bamboo ship. On this bamboo ship, strange runes appeared on every bamboo. The runes were like musical notes that intertwined together. A cool breeze blew in the surroundings, and the purple bamboo produced a moving melody. It was like the sound of nature, abnormally pleasant to the ears. Not only did the bamboo ship not seem simple, but it also had a unique charm. It exuded a kind of elegance. Melodious zither music drifted in the air from the ship's roof. The beautiful melody weaved a beautiful movement, but there was a faint trace of love in the zither music. TSK, good wine, good music. But little girl, I'm afraid you're using the zither to express your feelings and miss your lover. Little girl of the Qin family, why don't you invite this old man in? Maybe I'll bring you a different surprise. Outside the bamboo ship, 2 figures appeared out of nowhere. To be continued. If you want to know what happens next, please go to www.chidian.com and read more chapters. Support the author, support the original reading. Chapter 809. Ding! The sound of the zither came to a halt. So it's Senior Know-It-All. If you don't mind the simplicity of the bamboo boat, please take a seat in the boat. Katomi will serve you fine wine and delicacies, and entertain you with all my heart. Inside the purple bamboo boat, the sound of the zither was pleasing to the ears, and the sound of the zither naturally came out from the boat. A maidservant in a light green dress moved gracefully and bowed respectfully to the 2 figures outside. Miss respectfully invites the 2 seniors into the boat for a chat. The maid in green respectfully invited them in. Haha, this bamboo boat has its own elegance. Demon Lord, let's go in and have a rest. It's a good opportunity to see the girl of the Qin family. She has an unbreakable relationship with Debrat. He was dressed sloppily and looked like a beggar who knew everything. He didn't care about his appearance. He held a wine gourd in his hand and had a frivolous expression on his face as he poured wine into his mouth again and again. Occasionally, a bright light flashed in Xiao Chen's narrowed eyes. Beside him was the expressionless and cold demon sovereign. That D-brat has some ability. After being banished to the land of exile, he can still create so many storms. It seems that Mrs. Vision is as wise as usual. The demon lord's demonic hair fluttered wildly behind his head. His pair of demonic eyes quietly swept over the tiger soul that was inverted on the sacred mountain on the illusory island. This was D. Shirtian's weapon. How could he not recognize it? It clearly followed him into the land of exile, but it actually appeared here. The meaning behind it was somewhat thought-provoking. "Please," the maid in green said with a smile again. "Haha, good. Demon Lord, let's go in together. This old man can already smell the wine and dishes." The know-it-all shouted as he followed them into the bamboo boat. The interior of the ship was extraordinarily spacious. There was a faint scent of sandalwood in the air, causing one's mind to naturally calm down. In the dock, all the furniture was refined from purple bamboo. Bamboo tables, bamboo chairs, bamboo baskets, bamboo racks, they were arranged in an elegant manner, with a natural charm. In the dock, on top of a bamboo table, there were stacks of exquisite dishes and jugs of fragrant wine. A man dressed like a Confucian scholar stood up and looked at Know-it-all. He smiled and saluted. "Qin Buchuan greets Senior Know-it-all. Lord Devil Monarch, the two of you are able to come. This amethyst bamboo boat can be said to be very bright. Please take a seat." This middle-aged scholar was Katomi's third uncle, Qin Buchuan. Katomi walked out from behind the mural with Lu Qichin in her arms. She respectfully said, "Junior Katomi greets Senior Know-it-all. Hee, don't be so courteous, don't be so courteous. Being so courteous makes this old man feel uncomfortable all over." The Qin family's girl, TSK, looks more and more refined. Know-it-all chuckled. After a series of conventional greetings, they all sat down. After 3 rounds of wine, Senior Katomi was dressed in plain clothes with a natural elegance. Her eyes were clear, quietly looking at the know-it-all. She asked with a trace of expectation, "In the myriad world, there is nothing that you don't know, there is nothing that you don't know, there is nothing that can be hidden from your eyes." Katomi asks, "I don't know where Shirtian is now, is he safe?" After saying that, she looked at the know-it-all without blinking. There was a trace of nervousness on her face. "Girl, you are quite concerned about that little lover of yours." The know-it-all teasingly winked at Katomi, causing a trace of shyness to appear on Katomi's face. "Although this old man doesn't know the current situation of D-brat, I can assure you that he will definitely be fine. Moreover, his tiger soul saber appeared here, which means that the scene in front of us was probably set up by that little lover of yours." TSK. The know-it-all glanced at the countless bubbles that were constantly disappearing on the illusory island with great interest. He said, "Since he set up such a situation, how can he not appear? That's why, Qin family's girl, let's just relax here, eat some food, drink some wine, and let you play a few songs. Slowly wait, your wish will come true in the end. Quickly look, there is a good show going on in front of us. Tiger soul regains light, Emperor of heaven and earth. Not bad, this is really interesting." The know-it-all revealed a mysterious smile, and did not regard himself as an outsider. He picked up the wine pot and poured it into the wine cup in front of him. Roar! Looking at the illusory island outside the ship, the tiger soul could be seen crazily devouring the massive amount of vitality around it on the towering and vast divine mountain. Within the green pearl, countless large amounts of blood essence and spirit essence were integrated into the tiger soul saber. With every bit of integration, one could see that the golden divine light emitted by the tiger soul became even more intense. Streaks of sharp saber radiance burst out from the saber and directly cut out terrifying cracks in the void. Under the myriad of divine light, the shadow of a huge tiger emerged from the saber within the tiger soul. This tiger figure was extremely lifelike. As time passed, countless rays of golden divine light gathered. Gradually, the tiger's figure transformed into a golden color, as if it was amber. Moreover, its body became more and more condensed as if it was real. A pair of golden wings grew on its back, and its tiger eyes revealed endless majesty. A dense ruler's aura spread in all directions. The saber's soul within the tiger's soul had vaguely been completely condensed. Roar! This golden divine tiger occupied the sky above the tiger's soul. Its vast body that was thousands of feet long exuded an intimidating aura. It scanned the surroundings and suddenly opened its mouth. An earth-shattering tiger roar instantly came out. In an instant, it was as if millions of tons of explosives had exploded in the entire boundless void. Even countless cultivators outside the illusory island felt as if their heads had been struck by lightning. Their minds were shaken, and they all retreated one after another. Rings of golden sound waves spread in all directions. Wherever it passed, the bubbles that were constantly emerging outside the divine mountain exploded one after another. Countless chaotic destructive forces burst out, stirring up the wind and clouds. It was abnormally terrifying. At the same time, a purple-gold book was spat out from its mouth. Quick, look at the Imperial World Shocking Book. Could that be the supreme Imperial Path Absolute Art created by the Demon Emperor? As expected, this Tiger Soul Saber really contains the Demon Emperor's inheritance. The Tiger Soul's light is the Emperor of heaven and earth. This saying is indeed true. The saber contains a supreme Imperial Path Absolute Art. Once you master it, you will definitely be able to obtain a shocking cultivation like the Demon Emperor. The Tiger Soul has already been promoted to middle grade Earth rank. Charge forward. Whoever obtains the Tiger Soul will be able to obtain the boundless wealth of the Demon Clan. Charge. The moment they saw the purple gold book, there was complete silence outside the illusory island. However, in the next moment, countless cultivators' eyes completely lit up. Charge in. Many cultivators were mesmerized by desire. Without thinking, they stepped on the divine light and charged into the illusory island. The illusory island looked no different from an ordinary island. There were all kinds of vivid and lifelike flowers and plants growing on it. The green grass provided shade, and countless beautiful and fantastical bubbles floated in the air. It was like a dreamland. However, when these cultivators charged into the island, swoosh, swoosh, on the originally calm island, a gust of wind suddenly blew, and countless floating bubbles immediately swept toward the cultivators with the gust of wind. Oh no, these are all instant illusory worlds. Each world only lasts for a short period of time. As long as a living being is swept in, the entire small world will immediately be destroyed, and everything inside will be crushed into powder. Break for me. Looking at the bubbles that filled the sky, the cultivators who had been mesmerized by desire shuddered and regained their senses. Their expressions changed drastically. Without thinking, all kinds of Dharma treasures, Dharma spells, and divine abilities bombarded the bubbles. In an instant, a large part of the illusory world was destroyed. With a boom, countless destructive forces exploded. Splash! On the island, a huge wave suddenly surged in a huge river and swept toward all the cultivators. The wave hit and fell back into the river in the blink of an eye. The thousands of cultivators who had entered disappeared without a trace. The island regained its peace again, as if nothing had happened. Hiss! The onlookers outside the island couldn't help but gasp. Although those were just rogue cultivators, the strongest among them was an immortal emperor. Yet, they had been swept into the island so easily. In the blink of an eye, no one knew whether they were dead or alive. It was terrifying. What a terrifying void illusory island, muttered Katomi, her heart trembling. Little Chin, the void illusory island isn't terrifying. Know-it-all shook his head and said meaningfully, it's the heart and desire that's terrifying. If it weren't for the desire in the heart, no matter how terrifying the void illusory island is, it wouldn't have killed anyone. Moreover, the true experts have yet to make a move. Otherwise, the void illusory island might not have been able to stop them. Senior, you mean? Katomi said thoughtfully, they're waiting. They're waiting for the myriad demon city to appear. Waiting. Those who were truly powerful were waiting quietly. At this moment, due to the time difference between the origin world and the land of exile, in a short period of time, a considerable amount of time had passed in the land of exile. During this period of time, the myriad demon city could be said to be quite lively. First, the princes and princesses were born. The banquet lasted for 3 days. Then, the Dan Wang formally surrendered and offered a large amount of wealth and treasures. Next, the Rock Demon King and the other 5 expressed their willingness to become officials. Next, the Nightmare King, who and the others were busy drafting the constitution and planning to officially establish the Demon Imperial Dynasty. They clustered around Di Shirtian to proclaim himself emperor and establish the Imperial Dynasty. The entire myriad demon city exuded a majestic aura of vitality. Jade Pool, Beckoning Moon Palace. In the palace, Di Shirtian, Chen Shi, Bai Hu, Little White, the pair of newborn children, Xie San Yang, Blissful Boy, and the Gourd gathered together. To be continued. If you want to know what will happen next, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author, support the original reading. Chapter 810. Many pairs of eyes landed on the bed of clouds in the bedroom at the same time. There were all sorts of colorful, sparkling, and translucent immortal jades on the bed of clouds, giving off traces of pure jade splendor. They filled the entire bed of clouds. Surrounded by countless jade stones, there was a lifelike jade statue. This jade statue was so real that even the slightest trace of its expression was so vivid and lifelike. Vaguely, this jade statue seemed to be alive. Traces of jade-colored jade splendor drifted out of the surrounding jades, turning into strands of pure essence that quickly entered the body of the jade statue through its nostrils. The surface of the jade statue glowed with a divine radiance like flowing water. The jade statue was constantly absorbing the pure jade splendor contained in the surrounding jade. Every time it absorbed a trace, the luster of the surrounding jades dimmed a little. Some of the jades that were absorbed by the jade splendor divine essence shattered on the spot. They turned into fine powder. The soliciting moon divine mother. The person lying on the bed of clouds was Chun Shi's birth mother, the soliciting moon divine mother. The 9 revolving jade refining technique she cultivated was very mysterious. She could use jades to cultivate. She could even cultivate the 9 revolving profound jade body. Unfortunately, she was severely injured in the fiendish demon battlefield and had to seal herself to preserve the last bit of life in her body. She could not awaken without a divine jade of the world that had mysterious power. Shirtian, Mother Shi. Chen Shi used one hand to hold on to Sakra tightly as she bit her lower lip tightly. Her eyes were sparkling and translucent. Don't worry. With the spirit channeling jade and the miraculous 9 revolving jade refining technique, mother-in-law will definitely be able to successfully heal her injuries. She will eventually wake up and reunite with us. Di Shirtian comforted Chen Shi gently with a strong sense of confidence. For some reason, Chen Shi's originally restless heart seemed to have found a safe haven when he heard this. He immediately calmed down. He nodded and said, "Not only do we have to save my mother, but we also have to save your mother. We have to find second uncle. Only then can our family be reunited. After so many years, I can finally see third sister come back." Dressed in long golden robes, he exuded an iron-blooded, baleful aura. He held a gourd that was stained with the blood of countless demonic gods. At this moment, his expression appeared abnormally gentle, and he exuded a sense of kinship. "Uncle," Chen Shi called out. "Ha! Back then, I thought that the few of us would probably die in the fiendish demon battlefield of the fiend world. Unexpectedly, there would be a day like this. Demon Emperor, when Sister Yao Yu wakes up, If we old fellows need anything, feel free to ask. It seems that the future of the demon race still depends on you young people. The childlike blissful child spoke with a hint of emotion. That's right. The few of us may not be able to lead troops into battle, but if there's really a strong enemy, Third Aunt's poison needles can be of help. Xie San Yang laughed coquettishly. There was a hint of coldness in the depths of her eyes. Ever since they entered the demon city from the demon realm, they had been observing the development of the entire ancient city. There were new changes almost every time. From the demon clan of less than 100 million back then to the billions now, there were close to 10 billion existences. They couldn't help but admire the city from the bottom of their hearts. This was indeed something that they had never done before. In their hearts, they had already begun to make a decision to truly contribute to the demon city, to add a bit of strength to its rise. Di Shirtian was naturally happy about their change. However, he was not overly enthusiastic. The most important thing now was to save the Yao Yu Saintus. Whoosh! A light flashed in his hand and a psychic jade box appeared. The jade box was made of psychic jade. It was a rare treasure in the world. He carefully placed the psychic jade box on the forehead of the Yao Yu Saintus. Whoosh! As if sensing something, the moment the jade box touched the forehead of the Yao Yu Saintus, 2 puffs of jade mist came out of the Yao Yu Saintus' nostrils. In an instant, the jade box was enveloped in the mist. A rainbow-colored light burst out like a tide and quickly covered the entire body of the Yao Yu Saintus. The rich light strangely seeped into the Yao Yu Saintus. Ding! Thousands of rays of light enveloped the Yao Yu Saintus. A mysterious force burst forth from the Yao Yu Saintus. The sky demon blade that was originally in the chest of the Yao Yu Saintus was forced out inch by inch amidst the rich jade light. In a few breaths, it was completely forced out. It turned into a stream of light and fell to the ground with a crisp sound. The original wound healed in an instant. It was as good as new. The countless jade stones that covered the bed of clouds turned into fine powder. The vast jade splendor intertwined, constantly condensing into various strange phenomena. Some of them turned into strange flowers, some of them turned into the shapes of various living creatures. They quickly entered the body through the nostrils. That scene was gorgeous and fantastical. In the blink of an eye, the strange phenomena disappeared and the light dissipated. On the bed of clouds, the jade seal on the surface of Yao Yu disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. Mother! When Chen Shi saw it, her expression became emotional. Her eyes sparkled and she cried out softly. She rushed to the bed and knelt down with a plop. You are exhilarating. As if she heard the call, Yao Yu's eyes that had been closed for an unknown number of years slowly opened. The moment she opened her eyes, Chen Shi's teary face was reflected in her pupils. The mother and daughter instinct allowed her to recognize Chen Shi in an instant. Third sister, Huluzi took a few steps forward and called out gently, "Big brother." Yao Yu's awakening instantly filled the entire Yao Yu palace with laughter. Yao Yu was surprised by the relationship between Di Shirtian and Chen Shi, but at the same time, she accepted it with joy. Xiao Bianzhu took the opportunity to act coquettishly, filling the Yao Yu palace with joy. In addition to the 2 newly born babies, the air was filled with a warm charm. After the happy reunion, in the Lingxiao palace, Di Shirtian sat in the main hall. In the hall, the 2 elders Tian Can and Huang Quan stood respectfully. Looking at their faces, there was a faint light flickering on them. Their auras were unusually hidden, faintly discernible. Congratulations to the 2 elders for returning to the ancient heavenly demon realm. Looking at the 2 elders who came out of seclusion, Di Shirtian nodded with a smile. The 2 of us were able to recover so quickly because of His Majesty's unstinting supply of spiritual essence, spiritual wine, and medicinal pills. Only then could we recover from our injuries. We will repay His Majesty's kindness with 10,000 death. Tian Can and Huang Quan's faces were glowing as they said respectfully, "No need to be so polite. Sakura shook his head and changed the topic. Celestial Silkworm, you were the most famous weapon refinement grandmaster during the ancient times. Yellow Springs, you were also the most famous formation grandmaster back then. I wonder if the two of you have a way to refine a treasure that can temporarily condense a projection of the 1,000 Demon City and give the projection a certain amount of power so that the cultivators of the all heavens can't see through it. Or it can conceal the divine radiance that the 1,000 Demon City's supreme divine artifact naturally emits at this moment. It can make the ancient city look like it did before it was upgraded. The sudden sentence shocked Tian Can and Huang Quan. They looked at each other and understood the meaning behind Di Shirtian's words at the same time. The demon emperor was pretending to be a pig to eat the tiger and was preparing to trick them. Your Majesty, if we're talking about splitting the projection and making it have combat power so that it looks real so that the experts of the all heavens can't see through it, there is indeed such a treasure. It's called the 1,000 Shadows Mirror. Tian Can said in a deep voice. 1,000 Shadows Mirror? Di Shirtian's heart trembled. He asked, this 1,000 Shadows Mirror should have an extraordinary origin, right? That's right. This 1,000 Shadows Mirror is the most precious treasure of the Shadow Clan of the 100 ancient clans. It's a top Khanate spirit treasure that's extremely strange. It can continuously split into countless projections, and the projections have 70% of the original body's combat power. From the appearance, even the most powerful experts can't tell the difference between the original body and the shadows. However, this is the most precious treasure of the Shadow Clan's patriarch, the 1,000 Shadows Patriarch. It's impossible for us to get it. Huang Quan shook his head and rejected this possibility. Sakura secretly muttered to himself. Although with the current ability of the Demon City, it was a rather simple matter to create a projection. However, the projection that was created was just a facade. It couldn't be hidden from the eyes of the great mediums at all. If it was really released, it would be a laughingstock. However, Huang Quan and I are still confident in hiding the 1,000 Demon City's current divine splendor and natural aura. Tian Can immediately threw out another sentence. That's right. With our abilities, we only need to refine a sky-shrouding mirror. Not to mention hiding, I guarantee that not even a trace of a sign will be revealed. Huang Quan's face revealed a confident expression. Good. I'll leave the matter of refining the sky-shrouding mirror to you two. Take Ai's order and go to the Imperial Treasure Vault to retrieve the required materials. If you need manpower, just mention it. You must refine this mirror for Ai in the shortest time possible. Di Shirtian ordered in a deep voice. Yes, Your Majesty. Tian Can and Huang Quan retreated. Refining the sky-shrouding mirror was also a helpless matter. The Imperial Jade Archive had just merged with the 1,000 Demon City. However, the Jade Archive was only half complete, and it lacked more than half of the Great Tao Laws. In reality, it could only be half of the source of vitality. It was unable to perfectly restrain the aura of the entire ancient city. At this time, on the surface of the ancient city, there were thousands of divine splendor constantly intertwining, faintly discernible. The power of all kinds of laws was constantly tempering the ancient city. Among them, the ones that were truly restrained were the poison divine splendor and the thunder divine splendor. Because these two were born in the ancient city, all of their power could be restrained. Therefore, they could only wait for the great Tao talismans in the Imperial Jade Archive to be completed one by one. Every time one was completed, the divine splendor on the surface of the ancient city would be restrained. In the end, when the 3,000 great Tao were completed, the entire 1,000 Demon City would be able to do as they pleased. It would truly become one with the great Tao laws in the city. At that time, the 1,000 Demon City would reach the peak of the supremacy level. TSK, Madman D, you're playing a trick on me. Who knows how many people will die if you hide the fact that the 1,000 Demon City has advanced to the supremacy level. It's fun, too fun. Ming was lying in Huang Quan's holy river in the infernal prison, and laughing evilly. To be continued. If you want to know what happens next, please go to www.chidian.com and read more chapters. Support the author, support the original reading. Chapter 811. Under the cover of the sky-shrouding mirror, the demon city, which was originally a supreme-grade artifact, would still be at the pinnacle of the supreme grade in the eyes of the all-heavens cultivators. In that case, the demon city would be viewed as a supreme-grade artifact. At the critical moment, it could completely erupt with the power of a supreme-grade artifact. Who knew how many experts would be killed in an instant? At the critical moment, it could instantly turn the situation around and deter the all-heavens. It could also pretend to be a pig to eat a tiger, temporarily concealing its strength and secretly observing the movements of various forces. It could clearly distinguish who was on the demon race's side and who was its enemy. It could see clearly and understand everything at once. If it was an enemy, it would kill them all. If it was a friend, it would be a firm ally. Only when the demon city had not displayed its strength at all and stood on the demon race's side would it be a true ally worth befriending. It would be intolerable if it did not seize such an opportunity. However, using the sky-shrouding mirror to conceal the demon city's ascension to a supreme-grade artifact was indeed suspicious. If you want to deal with the all-heavens' countless dangers, you have to be more sinister than others. Demon Suppression Alliance. I'd like to see who will be the one to kill who. I'm going to screw over the Monster Suppression Alliance. Not only am I going to screw them over, I'm going to cripple them. I'm going to show off my might and intimidate the other worlds. Di Shirtian did not think that there was anything wrong with this method. Whether it was a conspiracy or an overt scheme, as long as it could achieve the goal, it was the best method. He looked up at the void, his eyes abnormally deep. The 100 ancient clans have returned. The first to return will be the demon race. I love to trick people the most. Dark laughed strangely a few times. Then, he changed his tone and said seriously, however, Lunatic D, in my opinion, you should find the demon summoning banner as soon as possible. This supreme treasure is the demon race's true treasure. I remember that in ancient times, many experts of the demon race sent their true spirits into the demon summoning banner. As long as the demon summoning banner is not destroyed, the true spirits inside will not dissipate. Find a way to get the demon summoning banner, and help the true spirits inside reconstruct their demon bodies. It was vital to strengthen the demon race. It would also allow the Thousand Fiend City to gain a large number of experts. With their experience in ancient times, they would be able to recultivate in the shortest amount of time. The significance is definitely not trivial. The diagram of gods and devils, the 9 ancient lamps, the demon summoning banner, and the blood altar. Summoning the primogenitor. Could it be that the primogenitor refers to the ancient true spirit of the demon clan in the demon summoning banner? Di Shirtian suddenly recalled the words on the tombstone he had seen in the Southern Barbarian. A thought flashed through his mind, and he could not help but guess. However, when he thought about it carefully, he felt that there was a deeper meaning behind it. It shouldn't be that simple. We do need to find the demon summoning banner as soon as possible. Di Shirtian nodded to himself. This demonic banner has a special function. Ming narrowed his eyes and said, during the ancient times, the demon clan was at its peak. Moreover, there were many different clans in the demon clan, and those with extraordinary bloodlines far surpassed ordinary beasts. Those with noble bloodlines were known as the royal family of the monster clan, such as the golden-winged roc, the peacock, the three-legged golden crow, the kuan pung, the phoenix, the vermilion bird, and so on. The bloodline in their bodies was considered the royal bloodline of the monster clan. They often gave birth to powerful innate divine abilities. However, in the end, they were not truly unified. They only dealt with the matters of the monster clan through discussions between the various clans. However, later on, many of the Monster Clan's experts wanted to promote a Monster Emperor. To truly establish the prosperity of the Monster Clan and establish a peerless foundation that would last for eternity. At this point, even his voice carried a kind of excitement. However, it immediately turned gloomy. Unfortunately, the invasion of the Fiend's celestial continent completely destroyed the prosperity of the Monster Clan. The demon summoning banner was specially prepared for the Monster Emperor. Therefore, Lunatic Emperor, you must obtain this supreme treasure. There was a great secret hidden in the demon summoning banner. A thought surfaced in Shirtian's mind. 3 days later, in a pavilion above the lotus pond in the jade pool, a table full of delicious food and wine was placed on the table. Just smelling it made one have the urge to salivate. One could not help but feel the urge to gorge themselves. In the pavilion, Shirtian and Shuewuya sat opposite each other. He carefully sized up Shuewuya in front of him. Shuewuya's clothes were as white as snow and the feather fan in his hand was elegant. His scholarly temperament made him even more outstanding. Looking at him, Shirtian could not help but feel as if a lifetime had passed. Thinking back to when they first met in the Five Elements mountain range, the Rock Monster King was the leader of the 8 great Monster Kings and could be said to be the one who controlled the fate of the Purple Gold continent. At that time, he still felt a kind of pressure in front of the Rock Monster King. Looking at it now, the positions between the two of them had unknowingly swapped. Brother Shue, thinking back to those days, time really flies. After so many years, this is the first time we are sitting together quietly and drinking wine. Shirtian raised his wine cup and gestured from afar. Brother D, you are indeed the master of destiny of the demon clan. Shuewuya drank the spirit wine in front of him elegantly and smiled faintly. All these years, I was fortunate enough to witness your rise from insignificance. You were able to gather billions of demons from all over the world in a short period of time, and even built the 1,000-demon city today. To be honest, if it were me, I would never be able to do what you did. I, Shuewuya, have lived for thousands of years in the Purple Gold continent. Compared to you, it really feels like I have lived in vain. I am not as good as you. As if he did not care at all, he spoke without hesitation. Brother Shue, there is no need to belittle yourself. The reason why the demon clan can survive in the Purple Gold continent is because of the 8 of you back then. I am just taking advantage of the situation. Shirtian smiled faintly. As they ate, they casually chatted about all the interesting things in the heavens. After 3 rounds of wine, Shuewuya put down his wine cup with a solemn expression. I believe Old Meng has already told you about my origins, the descendant of the golden-winged rock. Shirtian's heart skipped a beat as he understood the meaning behind his word. That's right. Shuewuya nodded. My ancestor held a high position in the demon clan back then. After the great tribulation of the demon clan descended, he risked his life to take away the demon summoning banner. He wanted to preserve the last foundation of the demon clan. He did not want it to fall into the hands of the human clan. My ancestor said that only when the demon clan is in danger of being destroyed or when we truly rise can we retrieve the demon summoning banner. Now that the demon clan has risen in your hands, it is time to entrust the secret of the demon summoning banner to you. At this point, he seemed to be relieved of a heavy burden. Slowly, he talked about the matters related to the demon summoning banner one by one. Sakura didn't disturb him at all and listened attentively. When he heard this, he could not help but be enlightened. It turned out that in the ancient times, due to the crisis, his ancestor risked his life to use a forbidden technique that burned his spirit to activate a powerful battle strength. He took the demon summoning banner with him and escaped far away. Furthermore, this escape actually led him directly into the heaven-reaching tower. In the situation back then, if not for the fact that Tong Tian Tower was one of the 9 great forbidden zones, it was likely that no one would be able to escape the pursuit of the human race. Only in Tong Tian Tower, even the human race was similarly helpless. It had to be said that this decision was a wise one at that time. After entering the heaven-reaching tower, his ancestor burned his spirit and was already at the end of his rope. He knew that he did not have much time left and could die at any time. Therefore, without hesitation, he sacrificed his life to open up a heavenly rock secret mirror in the heaven-reaching tower. He hid the demon-summoning banner in the heavenly rock secret mirror. He hid it in the most secretive corner of the heaven-reaching tower. Then, he sent a drop of his essence blood out of the heaven-reaching tower to continue his bloodline and let his descendants guard this great secret of the demon clan for generations to come. He would not allow the slightest bit of it to be leaked until the very last moment. He would only reveal this secret when the time was right. When Sakra heard this secret, his mind couldn't help but tremble. It was as if there were thousands of huge waves rolling non-stop inside his mind. It was actually the heavenly rock secret mirror that was hidden in the heaven-reaching tower. No wonder after so many years, no one knew the whereabouts of the demon-summoning banner. Your ancestors' actions were truly magnificent. Tion exhaled deeply and sighed deeply. The human clan experts have never given up on the demon-summoning banner. They chased into the heaven-reaching tower to find the whereabouts of the demon-summoning banner. However, how could they have predicted my ancestors' remarkable powers? For so many years, they have not even seen the shadow of the heavenly rock secret mirror. A mocking smile flashed across Shwewuya's face. The 4 great holy lands of the human clan were in the heaven-reaching tower. Could it be that the real reason they placed their sect in the tower was to find the whereabouts of the heavenly rock secret mirror and the demon-summoning banner? A thought flashed across Dshertian's mind. Then, where exactly is the heavenly rock secret mirror? Rest assured, Your Majesty. Without the guidance of my ancestors' bloodline, even an unparalleled expert would not be able to find the heavenly rock secret mirror. Moreover, from the bloodline inheritance, I know that the heavenly rock secret mirror has a guardian. With that guardian's strength, even an unparalleled expert would not be able to take advantage of it. Shwewuya smiled faintly. As long as we leave the banished land, I will bring you to the heaven-reaching tower to retrieve the demon-summoning banner. After a long time, the demon rock king left. Good fellow, the heavenly rock ancestor is indeed an extraordinary demon god. I did not expect him to hide so deeply. If Shwewuya had not said it himself, even if I searched for a lifetime, I would not be able to find a trace of the demon-summoning banner. The heaven-reaching tower, my goodness! Dark secretly clicked his tongue and sighed. The heaven-reaching tower was the world of savage beasts. Just the first level alone had left a deep impression on him. After my mother wakes up, I must hurry to the heaven-reaching tower. After pondering for a while, Dshertian made up his mind. The demon-summoning banner was irreplaceable to the demon clan and him. He had to get it as soon as possible. The savage beasts in the heaven-reaching tower might be a kind of treasure. The bulls that he had plundered back then were almost all tamed now. If you want to know what happened next, please go to www.chidian.com. There are more chapters. Support the author. Support the original reading. Chapter 8:12. If the Tianping mystic mirror had a guardian, then who was the guardian? As he made up his mind, all kinds of doubts appeared in his mind. However, these thoughts only ran through his mind a few times before he put them to the back of his mind for the time being. Let's talk about this later. There are more important things to do now. With a thought, his body flashed and disappeared from the jade pool without a trace. In the blink of an eye, he looked at the core world in the depths of the ancient city. Under the ultimate Emperor Jade Archive, which was spinning at a constant speed, rapidly absorbing the primordial chi from the void and the chaotic world. Dshertian appeared silently. Whoosh! With a wave of his right hand, jade boxes with simple patterns appeared in front of him one after another. They spread out, and at a glance, there were no less than 3,000 to 4,000 of them. Crack! Following a soft sound, the jade boxes opened one by one. Immediately, rays of dazzling divine light shot out from the jade boxes. There were tens of thousands of rays of light, and within the divine light, there was a strong aura of the laws. At a closer look, one could see that the jade boxes contained the fragments of the laws that only existed in the banished land. Each and every one of them had the appearance of a hexagonal crystal, but their colors were all different. The aura of the laws that they emitted was also different. In each jade box, there were hundreds of laws fragments. There were 3,000 to 4,000 jade boxes in front of him, and there were 300,000 to 400,000 of them. Each one was like the most dazzling jewel. It was gorgeous. That Dan Wang is really rich. He's a tactful guy. His ability to take advantage of the situation has reached the point of perfection. As soon as he heard that you're constantly collecting laws fragments, TSK, he immediately offered so many of them. There are no less than hundreds of thousands of them, which is dozens of times more than what you've collected before. The amount of wealth he had plundered was truly extraordinary. With these laws fragments, we should be able to produce the 3,000 Great Tao in the Ultimate Emperor Jade Archive. Ming looked at the large number of crystals and was about to drool. It wasn't surprising that the Pill Emperor had such a rich collection. Since ancient times, countless cultivators and demon gods had been exiled in the land of exile. Every day, a large number of cultivators and experts died. After they died, their comprehension of realms, cultivation methods, and even the divine abilities they cultivated would condense into unique fragments of the laws. For thousands of years there were countless of them. However, most of them were directly swallowed and refined by other cultivators to plunder the comprehension of the laws. The Pill Emperor himself had never gone out of his way to collect them. Otherwise, he would have been able to take out millions or even tens of millions of them, much less hundreds of thousands of them. Today, I'm going to gather the 3,000 Great Tao. With a wave of Di Shirtyan's hand, the law's fragments in the jade boxes were immediately sucked into the Ultimate Emperor Jade Archive by an invisible force. As soon as the crystals touched the Jade Archive, they melted into it at a speed visible to the naked eye like water touching sand. If there were laws in the original Jade Archive, the law's crystals immediately melted into the talismans of the Great Tao, completing the talismans. If there were Great Taos not in the Jade Archive, they immediately intertwined with the innate inextinguishable spirit light under the mysterious rules of the Jade Archive and gave birth to new talismans of the Great Tao. Sword Tao, Saber Tao, Spear Tao, Weapon Tao, Time, Space, Slaughter, Mystical Yin, Primordial Yang, Metal, Wood, Water, Fire, Earth, Wind, Ice, Cloud, Mist, Life, Reincarnation, Seal, Destruction, and so on. Mystical talismans of the Great Tao began to rapidly form. Every time a talisman was born, a portion of the innate inextinguishable spirit light in the Jade Archive would naturally meld into the talisman. It was constantly decreasing. Rumble. Every time a talisman of the Great Tao was formed, a strange lotus flower would appear in the air. The vital energy in the Jade Archive was increasing by another type. The land of the exiles was truly marvelous. Since the primordial age, and even the primordial age, countless powerful existences had been exiled here. The cultivation methods that these experts cultivated contained almost all of the 3,000 Great Taos, and the divine abilities that they possessed were even derived from the Great Taos. Now that so many laws crystals were being absorbed, the number of talismans in the Jade Archive was rapidly increasing. 1,500, 1,900, 2,300. As the hundreds of thousands of laws crystals entered the Jade Archive, it suddenly began to shine with dazzling, rainbow-colored light. The innate, inextinguishable spirit light in the Jade Archive vanished. The Tao of killing is to take from what is in excess and make up for what is in deficiency. The heavens use all things to nurture spirits, and all living things have nothing to repay the heavens. There is nothing in heaven and earth that cannot be killed. Kill, kill, kill. Slaughter millions upon millions of living things, and you will obtain the true essence of the Tao of killing. The great Tao of Yin and Yang lies in creation. Yin and Yang give birth to all things, the mother of all things. In the imperial jade archive, countless strange heavenly sounds of the great Tao flowed out like a tide. In the surroundings, fairies ascended to immortality, heavenly flowers fell, and exotic fragrances filled the air. Countless celebratory voices filled every inch of the void. Countless laws of the great Tao wove together to form the mysterious sounds of heaven, and countless mysterious runes appeared on the surface of the jade archive. They emanated the aura of the Tao. 3,000 talismans of the great Tao appeared on the jade archive. Rumble! The Emperor Realm's jade archive rotated, and 3,000 streams of vast vital energy were absorbed into it. Clink! Clink! The clear and melodious sound of pearls falling onto a jade plate sounded out from the jade archive, and it was actually numerous thumb-sized pearls that were sparkling and translucent like jade. They were snow-white and flawless, and they seemed like precious pearls that were completely formed by nature. Numerous mysterious markings of the Tao appeared on the surface of the jade archive, and they emitted a simple and ancient aura. Each talisman was like the most perfect work of art. 3,000 talismans of the great Tao were fully formed, and at the same time as the jade archive absorbed vital energy, they condensed the excess vital energy into heavenly essence pills. Underworld, Di Shirtian said, I'll have to trouble you to brand all the techniques in the scripture pavilion into the Emperor Realm's jade archive. Although the 3,000 talismans of the great Tao had been formed, only the poison talismans and lightning talismans were complete. The rest were incomplete. He wanted the Emperor Realm's jade archive to not only become the source of vital energy for Myriad Demon City, but also a supreme legacy treasure of the Yao race. He had to consolidate all the techniques into the jade archive. Rumble! A passageway to the scripture pavilion appeared in the air. Don't worry, Lunatic D. This is a matter of great importance to the Yao race's legacy. With me, Underworld, here, I'll make sure it's done properly. I'll brand all the techniques in my mind, and with the techniques in the scripture pavilion, I'm sure many of the talismans will be complete. Just leave it to me. Dark said confidently. Swoosh! Underworld's huge blood dragon body shuttled out of the nether prison and appeared in front of the huge Emperor Realm's jade archive. 1,000,000 jailers, come out now. It was now in charge of nether prison and had great control over it. As soon as it gave the order, a large number of prison guards in purple armor rushed out of the prison in a single file. They were so densely packed that they looked like ants. After they came out, they immediately obeyed the order and entered the scripture pavilion through the passageway. They began to record the techniques and brand them into the Emperor Realm's jade archive. For a time, countless techniques were branded into the jade archive. After entering the jade archive, they immediately turned into great Tao divine runes and entered every talisman. As the techniques were branded, one could clearly see that some of the great Tao talismans were quickly mended. The heavenly melody of the great Tao suddenly rang out. Unfortunately, the time talisman is too mysterious. I'm afraid it won't be so easy to complete it. Di Shirtian saw that the talisman closest to the chaos bead was only 1/10 of the way. It was a time talisman. Unfortunately, the great Tao of time was the most fundamental great Tao in heaven and earth. It was extremely difficult to perfect it, and techniques that could cultivate the great Tao of time were even rarer. Although one technique after another had entered the jade archive, this talisman didn't absorb any of them. If the time talisman is completely completed, then I can drive the Emperor Realm's jade archive and use a huge amount of primal chi to completely reverse the time in the entire demon city. Di Shirtian thought to himself, Do I have to integrate the exquisite pagoda into the Emperor Realm's jade archive and deprive it of the laws to complete the time talisman? However, as soon as this idea appeared, it was immediately thrown to the back of his mind. The exquisite pagoda was Zu's supreme treasure. It was obviously inappropriate to integrate it into the Emperor Realm's jade archive. I'll think of another way. It's said that one of the 9 great forbidden lands is called the Eternal Forbidden Land. It contains the power of time. Maybe I can absorb enough of the law of time. Complete the talisman. 3 years later, in the land of exile, Sky Silkworm and Huang Quan had refined the 4 heaven-shrouding mirrors. The heaven-shrouding mirrors hung above the 4 heavenly gates. The vast pressure in the demon city was naturally restrained, and the divine radiance was concealed. The entire ancient city's aura was concealed to the point where it was only the same as when it hadn't ascended to supremacy. There was no longer the pressure that made people unable to look directly at it. In the endless void, outside the void illusory island, more and more cultivators from all the heavens gathered outside. Rumble. At this moment, in a distant part of the void, the entire void suddenly distorted violently and collapsed with a loud bang, creating a huge crack in the void. After the crack appeared, it didn't heal at all. Instead, it rapidly spread in all directions at a terrifying speed. Bang! A pitch-black ancient city barged through the crack and emerged from the crack, instantly appearing in the endless void. As soon as the ancient city appeared, evil, murderous, and other auras constantly intertwined. It was as if it was an abyss of evil. Looking at the ancient seal on the ancient city's gate, 3 ancient black words appeared. Sinless City. These 3 words instantly explained the charm emitted by the entire ancient city. As long as one entered this ancient city, no matter what they did, they would be innocent here. Murder is not a crime, robbery is not a crime, adultery is not a crime, there is not a crime here. This was the true meaning of Sinless City. To be continued. If you want to know more, please go to www.chidian.com. Support the author, support the original reading. Chapter 8:13. As soon as the Sinless City appeared, its sinful aura repelled the surrounding spatial storms and pushed them into the endless void. The ancient city shook and the surrounding void shattered. There were numerous murals on the city walls. The murals were vivid and lifelike. There were various scenes of slaughter, robbery, gambling, rape, and so on. All kinds of evil scenes were displayed on each of the murals. They were ugly and chaotic. However, there was a strange feeling that made one sink into depravity. As soon as this ancient city appeared, the spatial storms, meteors, black holes, and other calamities that were wreaking havoc in the surroundings seemed to be bound by a terrifying force. They were forcefully suppressed and calmed down. Outside the city, it was calm and peaceful. There was an obvious difference compared to other places where disasters occurred. The vast ancient city that was hundreds of thousands of feet tall stood in the void. Sinless City. Isn't that the Sinless City in the Black Fiend Great World? Why would it appear here? Could it be that an expert from the Black Fiend Great World is preparing to snatch the Tiger Soul? Sinless City. It is said that no matter what you do outside, even if the entire world lists you as a wanted criminal, as long as you enter the city, you are innocent and no one will attack you. However, it is said that you can do whatever you want inside. It is abnormally chaotic. Burning, killing, robbing, plundering, and rape. There are countless crimes happening almost every moment. It is not ordinary chaos. If you are not careful, it is normal to die inside. I did not expect the Sinless City to be an ancient city that is at the peak of the supreme grade. Legend has it that the Thousand Demon City is only at the peak of the supreme grade. The Black Fiend Patriarch's son was killed and trampled to death by the Demon Emperor. I wonder who is in the Sinless City. Could it be Black Pupil, whose soul was rescued after his physical body was crushed? The Black Fiend Patriarch has issued a demon-slaying order. If the Sinless City comes, the demon-slaying alliance will probably come as well. The two must be allies and have a strong force. Many cultivators discussed when they saw the Sinless City appear. Bang! At that moment, a huge ship that was hundreds of thousands of feet long and had 9 floors tore through the air from the east. The ship was surrounded by golden divine halos and countless runes were flickering on it. The strangest thing was that there were many cold divine dragon lightning towers on the surface of the ship. On the deck, a large number of soldiers in black battle armor stood coldly. It exuded a strict aura. On the ship, a huge dragon flag was hung high. The entire ship exuded a fierce and merciless aura. It was as if anything that stood in its way would be completely destroyed. Ancient Dragon Banner, that's the warship of the ancient Emperor dynasty. And it's a peak unbounded battleship. I heard that there aren't many of them in the Eternal Imperial Dynasty, and each one of them costs a fortune to build. Is that the heartless heavenly battleship, the Third Prince's Mount? Rumor has it that when Heartless fought with the Demon Emperor in the God-perishing abyss, he was defeated by the Demon Emperor. Of the 8 true dragons that he condensed, 1 was killed and 2 were taken away. The hatred between them was so great that even the sea couldn't wash it away. No wonder he would come. With the appearance of the merciless heavenly ark, the third prince would definitely follow. We've made a big deal out of this. We've really provoked a big shot this time. The appearance of the Eternal Emperor dynasty instantly caused the atmosphere in the void to become tense and solemn. Look, it's the Ling Long Celestial Island. Even the Ling Long Celestial Island has shown up. The Ling Long Celestial Island doesn't care about any fights, and only cares about the transactions of all kinds of supreme treasures. They've made a lot of money in every Ling Long assembly. They've always been aloof, wandering in all the heavens and realms. I didn't expect them to come here. Are they going to change their principle and interfere in the fight for the Tiger Soul? Rumor has it that there's a hidden expert in the Ling Long Celestial Island. An ancient overlord once went to the Ling Long Celestial Island to blackmail them, but he never came out. Look, the Monster Suppression Alliance is here too. That's the Gathering Sage Island. I didn't expect it to be an unbounded battleship island. In the distance, the Ling Long Celestial Island shrouded in countless immortal clouds floated over, causing a commotion. However, the Gathering Sage Island of the Gathering Sage Cultivator appeared soon after. All the forces came one after another. The aura in the air was getting more and more intense, with a terrifying pressure. Some rogue cultivators wisely retreated, as if they knew that the scene in front of them wasn't something they could interfere in. If they didn't know what was good for them, they wouldn't even know how they died. The unbounded battleship islands, ancient cities, and ships suppressed the surrounding void so much that it was about to stop moving. Katomi saw the scene outside from the ship. She frowned slightly and muttered to herself, I didn't expect so many people to come to fight for the Tiger Soul and target the Demon City. Girl Chin, these are nothing. None of the real big shots have shown up yet. These are just the ones on the surface. I don't know how many of them are hiding in the dark. The commotion caused by your little sweetheart, the trap he set up, and the impact it caused was really not ordinary. Even I don't know what kind of trump card your sweetheart has in his hands that he dared to jump out of the chessboard and set up his own trap. Don't let the trap be set up but can't be controlled, and I have to clean up after him. That'll be a joke. The know-it-all man poured wine into his mouth. Under his frivolous appearance, there was a faint trace of seriousness. Hiding in the dark? Katomi pondered. Hee, little girl, let's not rush. Let's watch the show first. Let's watch the show first. The know-it-all man chuckled and winked. Suddenly, he turned to the Demon Lord and said, Demon Lord, oh Demon Lord, you have to take action when it's time. Don't worry. He is the successor chosen by Mississippi. Even if you don't say anything, I won't stand by and do nothing, the Demon Lord said coldly. On the heartless heavenly ship, Zhu Wuqing, who was wearing an ice-blue dragon robe with golden edges, had a cold aura between his brows. His black hair was bound by an ice-blue hairband. He wore a pair of gloves that were as thin as silkworms' wings. They were unusually transparent. If one didn't look carefully, one wouldn't even notice that he was wearing gloves. He stood at the bow of the ship and naturally exuded the cold and intimidating aura of an emperor. Beside him, there was a young girl wearing a plain white dress. She was born with a noble temperament, but she also had a crafty expression. She was sitting on the back of a two-headed green tiger. She was looking at the illusory island with great interest. Her gaze landed on the tiger's soul demon blade that pierced into the clouds on the sacred mountain. "Cousin Wuqing, could it be that you brought me out this time just to show me this saber?" Chuyun blinked and said, "Although this battle blade is domineering, I don't know how to use a blade." As she spoke, she gently patted the green tiger under her and said with a smile, "I still prefer green tigers. Look, I helped you obtain the tiger soul and fuse it into your green tiger's body, causing your green tiger's combat strength to be unparalleled. What do you think?" Zhu Wuqing said indifferently, "I heard that the black tiger back then became the current demon emperor. Since I can't catch the black tiger, then if I can obtain this tiger soul, it can be considered as fulfilling one of my wishes back then." "Thank you, Cousin Wuqing." Chuyun blinked her eyes, and there seemed to be an unusual expression flashed across her eyes. "All right, look at how I've obtained it for you," Zhu Wuqing said with a faint smile and ordered, "Heartless heavenly ship, charge into the illusory island for this crown prince. This crown prince is determined to obtain this tiger soul." "Yes." Rumble. Immediately, the entire heartless heavenly ship burst out with a resplendent golden divine light. Suddenly, all the divine light condensed together as if it was material. Waves of dragon might spread out in all directions. With a fierce shake, the surrounding void was crushed inch by inch. Looking at the heartless heavenly ship from the outside, the divine light condensed, and countless golden dragon scales appeared on the surface of the heavenly ship. It covered the heavenly ship. In the blink of an eye, a vast golden dragon that was no less than 30,000 feet long appeared in the endless void. This golden dragon was vivid and lifelike, and every dragon's scale seemed real. 8 claws appeared under its body. It was an 8-clawed golden dragon. Roar. An earth-shaking dragon roar came from the golden dragon's mouth. The dragon's body swayed, and immediately, the entire golden dragon charged ferociously and domineeringly toward the illusory island. It instantly appeared outside the illusory island and directly drilled in. It was met with a hurricane that swept up countless bubbles that were condensed in the illusory realm and swept toward the golden dragon. Crack! However, the golden dragon opened its mouth and let out a dragon roar that almost tore gold and cracked stone. The golden sound waves instantly swept in countless illusory realms, and after countless vibrations, the illusory realms were all shattered. The dragon below waved its claws, and a huge crack was torn open. Everything along the way was all smashed into powder. It violently and swiftly pounced toward the sacred mountain. Boom! However, how could the illusory island be a simple place of danger? The long river on the island suddenly surged with huge waves that covered the sky and pounced toward the golden dragon. It was strange to say that when the monstrous waves pounced on the golden dragon seemed to have been swallowed by something and strangely disappeared. It was as if it was swallowed by the monstrous waves in an instant. Every inch of space on this void illusory island contains countless spatial rifts and countless worlds. Every drop of water in that river contains a world. Once you are sucked in, it will be difficult to get out. Who knows how many worlds are contained in a single river? Who knows, one might be completely lost in the illusory river. Zhu Wuqing's move immediately attracted the attention of countless cultivators outside the illusory island. Seeing how fiercely he broke into the island and was strangely swept into the illusory river, there were many guesses. Roar. No matter how many worlds there are, don't even think of trapping this crown prince's witching heavenly ship. 8. Barren Imperial Dragon Fist. All worlds will be pierced through by this crown prince. Zhu Wuqing's cold voice suddenly came from the depths of the illusory river. Rumble! A golden dragon claw suddenly blasted out from the bottom of the river. One claw, who knew how many worlds it had pierced through. To be continued. If you want to know what happened next, please go to www.chidian.com to read more chapters. Support the author, support the original reading. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.